notices of motions or motions without notices on the order paper today. Before we proceed to the first motion on the order, I would like to afford the Honorable Qimbi the opportunity to make a statement in respect of the first order on the paper.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, Section 12(1)(a) of the Magistrates Act 90 of 1993 spells out the procedure for determining the salaries of magistrates. Magistrates are entitled to such salaries, allowances, or benefits as determined by the President from time to time by notice in the Gazette, after taking into consideration the recommendations of the Independent Commission for Remuneration of Public Office Bearers established under Section 2 of the Independent Commission for the Remuneration of Public Office Bearers Act 92 of 1997, and approved by Parliament in terms of subsection 3. Section 12(3)(a) provides for such a notice, and contemplated in Section 12(1)(a), a notice issued under subsection 1(a) must be submitted to Parliament for approval before publication thereof. On 8 December 2016, the Select Committee on Security and Justice received briefing from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development in relation to the proposed increases in the salaries of magistrates, as set out a draft notice by the President that had to be approved by the National Council of Provinces. For this financial year, the final recommendation was that magistrates should effectively receive 6% increase with effect from 1st April 2016. B, the total remuneration shall include the following elements: a basic salary component equal to 70% of the total package, which constitutes the pensionable salary, pension benefit contribution to the applicable pension fund, and last, a flexible portion for remaining amount of the total package. Therefore, the Select Committee on Security and Justice, having considered the draft notice and schedule in terms of Section 12(3) of the Magistrates Act, or Act number 9 of 1993, determining the rate at which salaries are payable to magistrates annually with effect from April 2016, referred to it, recommends that the Council approve the draft notice and schedule. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We now come to the first motion on the order paper as printed in the name of the Chief Whip. Chief Whip.
Chairperson of the Council, thank you very much for this opportunity. Our draft resolution reads as follows.
Chief Whip, please take your seat. Honorable Member.
Chairperson, ke bona le makgowa la tshwereng di speakers list. Re kopa speakers list, please.
Thank you, ma'am. That will be addressed. Please proceed, Chief Whip.
Thank you, Chairperson of the Council. Our draft resolution reads as follows: that the Council resolves in terms of Section 12, subsection 3, subsection A and B of the Magistrates Act 1993, Act number 90 of 1993, to approve in whole their determination by the President of the Republic of South Africa of the rate of salaries and allowances payable to magistrate as it appears in the draft notice of schedule of 5 December 2016, tabled in the Council on 6 December 2016. I move accordingly, Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable members, Honorable, yes, sir, you're on your feet.
Yes, Chairperson, I would just like to have exact translation of what the member said to you, Chair. I did not read it, and I'm quite upset. I heard something from one of the members, and if it is from what I hear, I want to have clarity on that. I'm definitely going to object against it. And if you can help me correct, please.
Thank you. What the member said was that only the white members of the House seem to be having a speakers list in front of them, that the rest of the members wanted to have the speakers list in front of them. My interpretation was not that she was being racist. It was simply that all the other members do not have a speakers list in front of them. And that is why I said the matter must be attended to. If it was offensive, I will apologize to the House because I did not think it was offensive. It wasn't meant to be offensive. Honorable members, there is no speakers list. I shall put the question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. As the decision is dealt with in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution, I shall first ascertain whether all the delegation heads are present in the chamber to cast the votes on behalf of their provinces. Are all delegation heads in? Yes. According to Rule 71, I shall first allow provinces the opportunity to make declarations if they so wish. Is there any province which wishes to make a declaration in this regard? None. We therefore shall proceed to the vote on the question, and I shall do so in alphabetical order, starting with the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape,
The Free State. Gauteng.
Thank you, Chair. Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal agrees, Chair.
Limpopo.
Yadumela mme.
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga supports.
The Northern Cape.
Northern Cape supports.
The Northwest.
We agree, Chair.
The Western Cape.
West Cape support.
Thank you, honorable members. All 9 provinces have voted in favor. Therefore, the question has been agreed to in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. We now come to the second motion on the order paper as printed in the name of the Chief Whip. Chief Whip.
Chairperson of Council, thank you very, very much. Our second draft resolution reads as follows. That Rule 239 subsection 1, which provides inter alia that the consideration of a bill may not commence before at least 3 working days have lapsed since the committee's report was tabled, be suspended for the purposes of consideration of the Adjustment Appropriation Bill B16 of 2016, National Assembly, Section 75, and Finance Bill B21 of 2016, National Assembly, Section 77. I move accordingly, Chair.
As there is no speakers list, I shall put the question. And the question is that the motion be agreed to. The decision is also dealt with in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. I shall first ascertain whether all delegation heads are present in the House to cast their provincial votes. Are all delegation heads in the House? I shall then, in terms of Rule 71, allow any province to make a declaration if they so wish. No province seems to be having the appetite. We therefore proceed to the voting on the question, and I shall do so in alphabetical order, starting with the Eastern Cape. The Free State. Gauteng.
Gauteng agrees.
KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal yavumelana nosha.
Limpopo.
Limpopo yadumela.
Mpumalanga,
Mpumalanga iyayisekela.
Northern Cape,
Northern Cape agrees.
Northwest,
We concur, Chair.
Western Cape.
We agree.
Thank you. All heads of provinces have voted in the affirmative. The question is therefore been carried in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. The Secretary will now read the first, second, third, and fourth orders of the day.
Consideration of votes and schedule, adjustment appropriation bill, Bill 16 of 2016. Consideration of adjustment appropriation bill, Bill 16 of 2016, and report of select committee on appropriations thereon. Consideration of finance bill, Bill 21 of 2016, and report of select committee on appropriations thereon.
The Honorable Chairperson, Mohai.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, special delegates, and honorable members, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Honorable Mcebisi Jonas, the guests in the gallery, which include my boys there, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Finance tabled the medium-term budget policy statement on the 26th October 2016, outlining the budget priorities of government for the medium-term estimates. Central to the 2016 MTBPS is the inclusive growth. This calls for partnerships through national dialogue on critical issues that affect the nation, dealing with slow growth, inequality, and poverty. The financing of policy choices reflected in the MTBPS is underpinned by the ANC-led government commitment to social and economic transformation. In tabling the 2016 MTBPS and the bills referred to above, the Minister of Finance, Minister Gordhan, indicated that, and I quote, that we face difficult choices about how best to use the limited resources we have and how those resources will be shared in the time of great need, close quote. And the Minister went on to say that public funds must be spent for common good. It is because that the 2016 MTBPS reflects that financial resources of the state are being applied in a manner that reaffirms commitment to economic stability, sustainability, and certainty. What the MTBPS 2016 also reflects is that there will be no unmanageable debt. How the level of debt is being managed is fundamental to the sustainability of the medium-term expenditure framework. Contrary to the views of the critics, our national debt is not being high given that the aggregate amount of national debt has a lower foreign denomination currency component. This is very different from other emerging countries where you have high foreign denomination currency debt. During these challenging times, we are, however, having the National Development Plan as our roadmap to rid the country of poverty and fight inequality. Through the NDP as our roadmap, our national project is one: building the nation character of a national democratic society, one that reflects what we want for the future. This means working together with labor, business, and civil society, infusing our creativeness to make economy more resilient. For this reason, Honorable Chairperson, collaboration is very essential. Already from these collaborations, we have concrete engagement to address some of our major economic challenges. And at this stage, I must say that we congratulate both the Minister and Deputy Minister of Finance for leading the country and crisscrossing the rest of the globe and ensuring that investor confidence is reignited for our country. We have strong economic institutions which, together with the policy choices we have made, provide us with a more positive future. Within the context of making difficult choices, the MTBPS proposes a measured fiscal consolidation, reducing the expenditure ceiling by 10 billion next year and adding 13 billion in the revenue measures. Combined with the proposals announced during the 2016 national budget, this will bring the tax increase next year to 28 billion. While the provincial equitable share is reduced by 500 million in the 2017-18 financial year as fiscal consolidation measure, social education, thus education and health, are protected with 7.2 billion added in the outer years. Universities and students will receive an additional 17 billion over the medium term. As stated, post-school education and training budgets are the fastest growing, with the university subsidies increasing by 10.9% each year on average, and NSFAS allocations growing by 18.5%. In the 2016 MTBPS, government continues to prioritize infrastructure investment to ease bottlenecks and raise economy's potential and growth rate. Public sector infrastructure budget are estimated at 987.4 billion over the MTEF period. Some of the difficult choices that have been made within the 2016 MTBPS are reduction and reprioritization of funds from certain grants due to underspending. The committee has, however, expressed concern because some of the grants are infrastructure related and very essential to basic service delivery. The National Development Plan visualizes an economic growth of 5.4%, while currently the GDP growth has slowed down but projected to grow by at least 0.5% this year. The committee is, however, confident that the current allocations and measures put in place to transform and grow the economy will yield the expected results. Achievement of economic transformation and inclusive growth will, however, not result from a single intervention, but from a range of mutually supportive initiatives. In many cases, this does not require new strategies, but better implementation of existing ones. And as the ANC, we believe also that the 2016 MTBPS and adjustment outlined in the Appropriation Adjustment Bill support the financial management of the National Revenue Fund in line with policy imperatives, and while reflecting a reduction in overall spending, continue to create a conducive economic environment and in no way impact on the core socio-economic service delivery needs. Together with the 2016 MTBPS is the 2016 Adjustment Appropriation Bill, which provides for issues of national importance. The bill reallocates additional 71.3 million to the Department of Home Affairs due to unforeseen and unavoidable expenditure when the local government election date was shifted from May to August this year. The Department of Basic Education receives additional of 179.9 million for repairs and rehabilitation of schools and associated costs, including the provision of mobile classrooms, catch-up camps, and replacement of workbooks. Department of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries received 212 million for procurement of animal feed for drought-stricken areas. And the Department of Water and Sanitation received 290.7 million package mobile destination plan to be used in coastal areas. The bill further provides for 50.6 million to the Department of Water, tankering and storage of drought-stricken areas. Honorable Chairperson, to conclude, I want to acknowledge the constructive and robust engagement that we have in our committees with both the Minister and the Deputy Minister of Finance leading the National Treasury in engaging in these bills. And also express appreciation of the participation of members and the support of staff of the committee and all the role players that have responded during the public hearing stage. The time frames were very tight, and in some cases, the committee program had to be adjusted at short notice. Members and support staff were, however, at all times combat ready to deliver. Going forward, Honorable Chairperson, if I may state, the Finance and Appropriations Committee have already taken a position that the amendment of the money bills will be given a priority in the 2017 program. This will enable the committees to amend the money bill to act so that the tight time frames are addressed to enable the committee and the provinces sufficient time to deal with the budget-related bills. The committee resolved to support the proposed 2017-18 division of revenue, as well as the conditional grants allocations to provinces and local government. We also agreed to support the 2016 finance bill without amendments And lastly, to support the 2016 Adjustment Appropriation Bill without amendments. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members, that concludes the debate. I shall now put the votes in the order in which they appear in the schedule to the bill. But before I do so, I would like to remind members that the doors will be closed. Honorable Khayla.
I rise to declare this document as not proper. For instance, not in one of the votes do I object as a UDM. And I got a copy of that here. So this document is not a true reflection. Thank you. Here's my copy, you can see it. I don't object on anything as a UDM. My party didn't instruct me to object. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Khayla, your point is taken, it is respected. What may appear in front of you, I'm told, is just a guide. Any party can still stand up and say, I object to a particular vote, or in fact, I no longer object. It will be within your rights to do so. May we proceed? I now put vote 1. Is there any objection to vote 1? Vote 1 is the Presidency. Honorable Julius.
Democratic Alliance object to the Presidency budget vote.
The objection of the Democratic Alliance is noted. Is there any other objection? The EFF objects. That will be noted. Honorable Julius.
Chairperson, thank you. We also call for a division.
Thank you. Can I be, yes, sir, Mr. Faber.
I just ask to make it easier that we, as we divide now, also take positions as previously to make it the process faster.
Thank you. The House will now divide. Those who object will come to this side. Those who do not object will come to this side, and those who abstain will find some place in the middle of the two groups. You may not be the only one, Honorable Kaula. The House is dividing. I take it that Honorable Sfako is in the abstaining. Order, members. I am sure, members, we do not want to spend the whole day. Honorable members, take your seats. Even though members, order. Members, even though we can still say members must go to their seats and log in for the vote, it might be easier for us to ask that we have 2 members who will do the count. Can those who object have a member who counts on their behalf? Honorable Mutara's hand was up, you are counting for this side. Honorable Ngwenya, are you going to be going with the affirmative? Or you will indicate? Thank you very much. Honorable members, there has been a call to divide, and we have agreed to divide. We shall now proceed with the vote. Those members who are voting against will raise their hands. Those members who are in favor, thank you. Thank you. Though, are there any members who are abstaining? Only one. Honorable members, may I give you the results? In terms of what I have in front of me, 39 members have voted. 28 members are in favor. 10 members are against. 1 member has abstained. Therefore, the question on vote 1 has been agreed to. 2 members now have abstained. Okay. 3 members have now abstained. I can't read your head, Honorable Ngwenya. Are you? Yo, 3 members. So in fact, can I revise what I said earlier on? Order, members. It means that earlier on I said 31 members had voted. I said 39 members had voted. It is 41 members who have voted, 28 in favor, 10 against, 3 abstained. Those are now the results. The question has been agreed to for vote 1. We proceed to put on vote 1 after we have voted on it.
It was so dear Makar, Chairperson, just to make it
No, sir. You will get, we have voted on the matter. You are allowed to make, it was not dear Makar. You will get an opportunity to make your declarations before we vote. That is the practice, and the Honorable Julius knows about it. Dear Makar or not.
to make my declaration, but we immediately started with the vote, with the process of voting.
Honorable Julius, I am going to plead with you. You do know that declarations are made before the vote. Thank you. Honorable members, we now proceed to put vote 3 to the vote. Is there any party, any member who wishes to make a declaration? The Honorable Kaula wishes to make a declaration. Any other member? Honorable Prince, Honorable Julius. Honorable Kaula, you were first.
Yeah, Thokoza Sihlalo. Chairperson, the IFP wishes to state that this department is in a crisis, in fact, because of the leadership, political leadership of the department. When the minister was actually here, She was not even taking us serious, laughing at the issues, serious issues that we were raising with her. Right now, we have this ad hoc committee that is dealing with the issues there, also because the minister has a contribution to what is happening. She's not serious, she is not taking matters seriously, and this has been going on for far too long. And as the IFP wish to state that there must be some kind of reining in at the communications department so that it actually represents the people of South Africa and also begins to take the financial issues in the department seriously, the governance issues seriously, and also the running of the matters of the SABC seriously, because right now the department, especially the SABC, is in a crisis. There must be some order. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Prince.
Thank you, Chairperson. The ANC is committed to extending and expanding access to information and increasing local content in this regard. We are committed to good governance, and in line with this, which to see the stabilization of the SABC in relations to its board and leadership. All developing and developed countries have a responsibility to educate, inform, and entertain its citizens in a manner which tells the true stories of who and what we are. In this regard, we support the SABC endeavors to expand its infrastructure so that particularly local content can be produced. Notwithstanding the problems which have faced the public broadcaster, we are of the view that given necessary support and leadership, the SABC will reach its envisioned purpose and role. The ANC support the adjustment vote, budget vote 3. Thank you.
The Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Chairperson. I agree with Honorable Kahula that the leadership at the SABC is a serious concern. Claudia Motsoeneng must be axed with immediate effect from all positions in the SABC. Despite the High Court ruling that found Mr. Motsoeneng unfit, Minister Motambi and the ANC is still defending him to stay in his position. These are typical elements of state capture. Claudia Motsoeneng has a mandate from the master of state capture, President Zuma himself, to turn the public broadcaster into a state propaganda machine. All this happened, Chairperson, while the ANC members in Parliament, and specifically in the NCOP, continue to support this department. The ANC Youth League's continued support for Motsoeneng is further proof of this. Worse is that the ANC Youth League in KwaZulu-Natal announced last week its support for Motsoeneng to be a minister in 2019. Again, voters cannot wait to punish the ANC for this. The ANC has clearly lost all moral compass. That is why the single board member is defying Parliament and the public protector because of the ANC. The DA cannot support this budget vote, Chairperson. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other party that wishes to make a declaration? We proceed, therefore, members, to take the vote on this matter. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. Those who are against? Thirteen. The DA is 12. Thank you. The results are in, honorable members. Those in favor are 29. Those who are against are 14. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We move to the next vote, and it is vote 4. Are there any parties who wish to make declarations? Honorable Mohapi.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Declaration of vote for COCTA. Chairperson, the Adjustment Appropriation Bill provides for increases or decreases to allocations set out in the Main Appropriation Act, including shifts in the projected economic classification of the spending. There are different aspects of the Adjustment Appropriation Bill, which included unforeseeable and unavoidable expenditure, virements, rollovers, self-financing expenditure, and declared unspent funds. The sum of this adjustment has led to a total downward adjustment of the budget by 9.6 billion. Most of the downward adjustment came from an unspent contingency reserve, projected underspending, and repayment by local governments into the National Revenue Fund. In terms of Section 30, subsection 2G of the Public Finance Management Act, the Minister may table an adjustment budget when necessary. Chair, in respect of the Adjustment Appropriation Bill, particularly vote 4, which deals with cooperative governance and traditional affairs, the Municipal Demarcation Transition Indirect Grant received a rollover of 27.9 million. Members of the NCOP will remember this grant subsidized the additional institutional and administrative costs that arise from major boundary changes that came into effect in the time of local government elections. There were several boundary changes that came into effect on the date of 2016 local government elections, reducing the total number of municipalities in the country from 278 to 257. Chair, the object of appropriation bill encourages all of us, particularly because of the challenges of slow economic growth, local government to tighten their seat belts and learn to do more with less and to prevent wastage. Newly elected municipal councils are responsible for drawing up ITPs that will guide their investment over the next 5 years. Given budgetary constraints, all municipalities need to focus on more efficient spending and value for money to improve basic service delivery. Chair, in terms of the ANC, we welcome the launch of the Municipal Money website. The Municipal Money website is an initiative of the National Treasury, which has collected extensive municipal finance data over several years and would like to share this information with the public. The aim is to make this data widely available in order to increase transparency, strengthen civic oversight, and promote accountability. The South African system of local government is contingent on the active citizens and organized civil society vigilantly exercising oversight and holding their municipalities accountable. Municipal Money aims to promote transparency and citizens' engagement through visualization and demystification of information about municipal spending. It is based on this background that the ANC supports the Adjustment Appropriation Bill and recommends that it be passed to meet the immediate government spending requirements. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other party that wishes to make a declaration on vote 4? None. We therefore proceed to the vote. Those who are in favor, please. The DA calls for a division.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We are already divided. Those who are, you do correct to call for a division.
If I can just get clarity on one process. While we are busy with the total bill, is the doors closing when we started with voting till right at the end? Because it seems through the years things are changing. I would like to have clarity. Does the doors close in the beginning and then only at the end of all the bills open again? Or does it open between every bill while people are doing declarations? Because there's not consistency over the years on this. I need to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Order, members. Honorable members, when we start with vote 4, any movement which in or out would then not be encouraged. I think we've got to be very clear that today we've got a very interesting situation. I got the note that a bus from one village is still not here. The roads are flooded and members are not here. It is not their doing. But what we must be clear on is that once we have started with a vote and you leave that, that vote cannot be counted, or you cannot be allowed to come in whilst we are busy with a vote, so that we are not punitive when we don't need to be punitive. If you notice, with the first vote that we dealt with, the numbers are not the same because we only allowed members to come in after we had finished with the results of that. So there has not been any,
Is in the previous years, and I'm talking from 2009, and I don't want to say things were right then, but what happened was in the beginning when we started with vote 1, the doors was closed right to the end. It was never opened till the last vote was finished. So for that reason, I want clarity for myself, please.
I thought I heard you, and I thought I was trying to be as accommodative as I can. If honorable members are not at work and it is wholly their fault, maybe we can go back to that. But when I remember at one point we sat here and we practiced that rule. And an honorable member could not even go out, and she actually messed herself up because we refused. No, it's not a joke. One then needed to rethink and say, was it what the rule intended, that people can't even be allowed to go out to toilet, and therefore then miss that vote in the county? Because the fact that nature calls you and you are not in the house does not guarantee that we will count that vote, because we will count the vote that is in the house. But that vote cannot walk in the middle of the voting and be counted. That we will not do. Honorable Kaula, are you still on this matter?
Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much for allowing me. I just want to go down memory lane, Chairperson, to say maybe you'll need to apply your mind so that consistency doesn't suffer, because in 2014, the Honorable Mtileni was locked out of the house, and he was the only member of the EFF that was in on that day. He went out, and when we started, he was still outside. He couldn't come in for the whole voting process. So I'm just saying, Chairperson, so that maybe when you take decisions, we don't come back to you to say, you do this on this day and the other thing on the other day.
Thank you. That will be taken into consideration, and thanks for reminding us of what happened into the past. Honorable members, the House, we have been called for a division. We are divided. Those who are in favor of the vote, please raise your hands. We are on vote 4. Have you finished? Thank you very much. Those who are against, no, they are counting. Do we have the results? The order. Those who are abstaining, there is 1 abstention. Thank you very much. Honorable members, the votes are in order. I know it's Friday morning. Honorable members, 34 members are in the House. They have voted. 30 members have voted in favor. 13 members have voted against. 1 member has abstained. The question, therefore, has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote 5. Is there any objection to vote 5? There is an objection. The objection of the DA is noted. Shall we then proceed to ask parties if they do want to make declarations? Nobody wants to make a declarations. We go straight into the voting. We are divided. Those who are in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Those who are against? Is there any member who is abstaining? Okay. Order, members. Again, 34 members have voted. 31 members have voted in favor. 13 members have voted against. We have no abstention. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. Honorable, you are on your feet.
No, just wanted clarity, Chair. Do we vote even if there is no call for division by any of the parties? I just wanted clarity.
If there is no call for a division, we don't. We observe the objection. If there is a call for a division, we put it and people vote. Thanks. We proceed to vote number 5. Is there any objection to vote number 5? 6. Yeah, nee, dis Vrydag. Is there any objection to vote number 6? The DA objects. Is there any party that wishes to make a declaration?
No, Chairperson.
The ANC? Please proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. For the African National Congress, international relations and international cooperation is very important. Part of our liberation struggle was to end that tradition where we were the pariah of the world, as Comrade Nelson Mandela called it. We are mindful, Chairperson, that our diplomatic footprint is very important for us, particularly at this time when we celebrate the internationalism that we have been taught by the late Commandant Fidel Castro from Cuba. We noted with concern when the Department of International Cooperation and International Relations presented its budget to the Select Committee that there were some qualifications that our attention was drawn to. And these related, and I think it's important for everyone to know, that it was primarily because of the difficulties with the valuations of the properties, and in particular, the pictures that exist in more than our 120 embassies in all parts of the world. We are mindful, Chairperson, that there are also the currency fluctuations that has an impact on exactly how this very important Department of International Relations and Cooperation represents our country and its people in other parts of the world. We do know that there are concerted attempts by the department to introduce cost-saving measures and commend them for that, but also commend the department for the assurance that they have given us for closer cooperation and assistance from the Attorney General's office in order to deal with the challenges of accounting that exist within the Department of International Relations. We are proud, Chairperson, that because of the work of this department, we will be participating as Team South Africa in the World Economic Forum and look at the economic interest of our country so that we can enhance the objectives of this government to deal with unemployment, poverty, and inequality. And it is also through the work of our embassies and the ambassadorial staff that we are proudly participating in BRICS and also in the G20. Therefore, the ANC felt it's important that we should emphasize why we support this budget of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Thank you, Chair.
The Honorable Kaula.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, the IFP has got a few concerns in respect of our international relations. One, South Africa has too many foreign missions abroad, and they are running at exorbitant costs, which is the cost to the taxpayer, and the cost that the country pays to run these foreign missions does not equate to the returns that the country is getting. And therefore, the IFP is calling for an audit of what we still need and what is no longer strategic to the country, so that we scale down on the cost to run these missions. And secondly, the IFP is also concerned that more often than not, our foreign missions are used as a dumping ground for the failing public representatives who have failed elsewhere in the country, and they are dumped, dumped into some of these foreign missions. And how can they succeed when one is failing somewhere and is taken to a foreign mission just to give those people jobs? Our foreign missions are now not very different from the food parcels, where if you have got a particular card, you can work there. If you don't have that card, you cannot work there. So the IFP says the department must work into all those things so that our foreign missions are contributing to the growth of the economy of the country. They are important, but we need to scale down. We need to look at those that are no longer strategic and scale down on the cost. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other party that wishes to make a declaration? None. We proceed. Are there any objections to vote 6?
The DA object, and we ask for a division.
A division has been called for. We therefore proceed. Those who are against? Thank you very much. Those who are in favor? Have you counted? Thank you very much. Those who are abstaining? Thank you very much. May I have the results, please? Thank you very much. 35 members have voted. You'll remember that a member walked in as we were busy with declarations, not voting. 35 members have voted. 31 members are in favor. 14 members are against. There are no abstentions. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, and I put vote 7. Are there any objections to vote 7? EFF? The objection is noted. Are there any declarations? None. The objection of the EFF. Order. The objection of the EFF has been noted. We proceed, honorable members, to vote 8. Are there any objections to vote 8? DA objects? The objection of the DA is noted. Are there any declarations on this vote?
Yes, thank you.
Declarations by the DA, please proceed, ma'am.
Madam Chair, thank you. This department's budget has radically increased from its humble budget of 208 million in the 2014-15 year budget to this year's 717.7 million rand. This department and Minister Jeff Radebe's responsibility is to ensure that relevant actions and targets in the medium-term strategic framework are reflected in the performance agreements of ministers. Unfortunately, transparency in terms of our ministers' performance is non-existent, and the hard-pressed taxpayer will never know how, or if ever, the performances of ministers are ever measured. Like many other secret ANC missions, only the President can decide whether to be transparent on the important issue of evaluating a minister's work and the value of a minister's contribution to the taxpayer. It has become clear that our President has no intention of divulging the efficiency of his many trusted henchmen. In spite of the increasing budget, most departments and their ministers continue to give lackluster performances at the expense of service delivery. One of Minister Radebe's most difficult tasks is chairing the Interministerial Committee on Information and Publicity, where he is expected to give a positive spin on the government's patchy performance, a particularly challenging job these days. Unfortunately, Minister Radebe has been so busy playing the role of a spin doctor that he hardly ever attends the portfolio committees of public service administration or the committees of planning, monitoring and evaluation, as the government and the President have lurched from one crisis to the other. Focus should be on the elimination of weaknesses in the various departments that exaggerate the overall effectiveness, efficiency, and impact and sustainability of government performance. Due to the above-mentioned lack of performance, especially in terms of the evaluation of the different ministers, the DA cannot support this budget vote. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Manopole.
Thank you, Chair. In recognizing the fact that there's a need to identify the effects of disruptors of the policy adjustment to enhance the service delivery, in order to arrest such potential destabilizers, the departments must work tirelessly to deal with those elements. To ensure successful implementation of government plans, such factors are fighting corruption and building capacity, as we are building the developmental state. Furthermore, which is more important, to enhance the service delivery, the Operation Pakisa, which is there to fast-track the implementation plan of the cross-cutting issues, are therefore very important and pivotal for the ensuring that the department, after monitoring and implementing and observing there are those destabilizers, be able to arrest such destabilizers and be able to ensure that the service delivery is fast-tracked. Therefore, as an ANC chairperson, we do support its important department vote. Thank you.
Is there any other party that wishes to make a declaration? The objection of the DA was noted earlier on. We proceed. We proceed to vote 9. Is there any objection to vote 9?
Clear and ask for a division.
On vote
9.
9. The DA wishes also to make a declaration. We can hear the declaration, ma'am.
Honourable Chairperson, the Department of Public Enterprises can be crowned as the Department of State Capture. Although the department itself does not control the funding of the entities, it is the stakeholder and ultimately the watchdog over the behaviour and conduct of the state-owned enterprises. According to the report of the former Public Protector, our SOEs have a lot to answer for, but equally the Department of Public Enterprises needs to take responsibility for not acting against those entities allowing things to progress as far as they have. It is difficult to believe that Department of Public Enterprises officials on some levels could not have known about issues of capture. Indeed, the ANC Cabinet and executives went further and decided to place the SOEs in the hands of the Master of State Capture, President Jacob Zuma. More power is given to him to create structures and mechanisms to utilize the state coffers to the benefits of friends and pals in positions. The ANC's abuse of state-owned enterprises reminds me of a story of Little Red Riding Hood. They established the perception of caring for the vulnerable and the poor, whilst the opposite is the truth. This department should not exist, now being responsible for only 5 state-owned enterprises. The DA does not support this vote.
The ANC, Honorable Pakis.
Honorable Chair, South Africa is one of the countries that are characterized by dual characteristics of development and underdevelopment, with a growing population and high level of unemployment and inequalities. State parastatals
Please
represent...
do not drown out this member. You are protected.
State parastatals represent a powerful device for economic development and inclusive growth to enrich the livelihood of our people in the land. Central to the workings of these state entities should be the efficiency and effective accountability about the public resources that are not for personal enrichment, but job creation, skills development, and drive deeper transformation in our country. Let us averse, Chair, that those state entities that are doing well must continue to do well, and those that are shriveled should firm up their activities in the best interest of our people. We support this bill as the ANC.
Thank you. Is there any other party which wishes to make a declaration? A division has been called for, therefore we proceed to divide up. Those who are against vote 9, please raise your hands. Thank you. Please drop your hands. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. No, we are counting, ma'am, please. Honorable Mutara. Is there any member who is abstaining? No. Honorable Khaila initially had not raised his hand. Towards the end, he raised his hand. So we do have 31 in favor, 14 against, and no abstention. We proceed to vote 10. Are there any objections to vote 10? Ma'am, you are on your feet.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, fortunately, the DA is always prepared to read its declarations, not like the ANC.
Are you objecting?
We are
before
objecting,
we get
Madam
to?
Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Your objection has been noted. You can proceed with your declaration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fortunately, we are all ready and prepared for our declarations, not like Honourable Parkis, writing down on the slips of attendance register for his notes.
Honourable, that is really under the belt. That's really not, it's very personal. I think you really don't want to go there. Please proceed with your declaration.
Chairperson, the core mandate, Madam Chair, the core mandate of this department is to accelerate the speed of service delivery at a reduced cost by ensuring that qualified and skilled people work in conducive environments that will result in efficient service delivery by this government. It would seem that this department no longer understands its mandate. Instead, it has adopted a culture of wasteful expenditure, such as the purchase of vehicles to the value of 2.2 million and furniture to the value of 4.5 million. Further, South Africa's membership in the Open Government Partnership is a farce, and we can only wonder what the benefit of this partnership will bring to the poor people of our country, since much of the additional 2.5 million will be spent on flights and the like to places like New York. Throwing in an additional 16 million into the National School of Government will also not improve the quality of its training programs or be cost effective. It is clear from this that none of the requested additional funding will aid in the acceleration of the government's speed or the quality of service delivery. Instead, what will happen is that the money which is meant to improve the quality of life of our people will be redirected into projects which serve no benefit to our people. It is for this reason that the Democratic Alliance cannot support this amended budget. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The ANC, Khosi Tobejane.
Chairperson, mololoko a hlomphega go a fetša go bolela mme mohlomongwe ga a dule South Africa ka gore mme go fihla ka nako e go bontšha gore public admin ya bereka le megwanto e šitšwe fase naga e ga e sa bona megwanto e be go e bona go bonala gabotse gore ditirelo di thoma go fihla bathong di tšhentšha maphelo a batho taba ya gore ge batho babereki ba mmušo ba agelwa capacity yena a lebeletše National Governance School a re ga a bone se se dirago go itshupa gore mahlo a bona ga a lebelele dilo tše di phethagalago ba lebelela tše di ba kgahlago fela gobanego ge babereki ba mmušo ba hlahliwa nako le nako ba ba maemo a mabotse ba kgona go fa ditirelo tša maleba ge o lebeletše le yona budget a bolelago ka yona go bonala goreng ke e nnyane go ka ba e be ka kgontšha mmušo gore o hlahle babereki ba ona ba kgone go fihlelela ditabatabelo tša setšhaba sa Afrika Borwa ke ka lebaka leo African National Congress e re go a re tšwele pele re thege budget ya department. Thank you very much.
IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, the IFP is concerned with the reports that some public servants are abusing sick leave, particularly on Fridays and Mondays, and through this, the state is losing a lot of money and a great deal of manpower hours. It is also reported that some unscrupulous doctors are involved in issuing fraudulent sick certificates, and we call for this to be investigated because through this, the country is losing production hours and also service delivery is being adversely affected. The IFP acknowledges that the Public Service Commission continues to do excellent work in terms of its investigations, and the recommendations aimed at assisting our public service to operate in a responsive manner and for us to arrive at becoming a capable state. But the Public Service Commission does need greater teeth, and therefore we say it's no use for them to produce these excellent recommendations when they are not going to be implemented, and therefore something needs to be done so as to empower the Public Service Commission to be able to do more on their recommendations. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and Honorable Mohai, control yourself.
Thank you, sir. Honorable members, order. The objection of the DA has been noted. There was no call for a division, so we proceed to vote number 11. Are there any objections to vote number 11? The DA objection is noted. Is there any party that wishes to make declarations on vote number 11? The Honorable Khaila, the UDM.
Thank you, Chairperson. The UDM is concerned as far as the irregular and reckless, fruitless, and unauthorized expenditure. These monies are intended to improve the socio-economic condition of the most vulnerable in our society, the women, the youth, the disabled, and the rural poor. The department must address its lack of capacity with regard to the risk management and internal audit section. These are strategic support functions created to assist the department in order to discharge its responsibility. The expanded public works program produced a paltry 11,000 work opportunities as against more than 8 million unemployed poor citizens. The government is very much unlikely to achieve the target of creating 6 million job opportunities if this department is not playing its strategic central role. The department must urgently consider disposing of residential properties currently occupied by the public. The department is not in business of residential property ownership and must leave that space. Transformation in the built environment must get urgent attention, given the bulk of the budget going to a few non-black construction companies. Further recommendations in the report are supposed in this regard. It will be important for the department to pay a maximum attention to those recommendations. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. The objection of the DA has been noted. There has not been any call for a division. A declaration. Please proceed.
Ngosi mhlali ngaphambili ohloniphekileyo. Sibulele ithuba njenge-African National Congress siyalixhasa olungezelelo lohlahlo lwabiwo-mali. Le department lisebe eliqinisekisa ukuthi ukhona ulwakhiwo and urhulumente uba nguye othi umhlaba ube phansi kwakhe. Le department eqinisekisa ukuba zikhona indawo zokuhlala. Umhlonipheki okagila besinaye kwi-pre-visit ebesikhona pha eMpuma Koloni ingakumbi kulaa mhlaba waseBizana. Ubonile nje uba bekuqhuma uthuli pha kuyakhiwa indlela kuzo zonke amaphondo alapha eMzantsi Afrika kuqhuma uthuli nakwi-provinces zizonke ngenxa yelisebe eliqinisekisa ukuba ukhona ulwakhiwo. I-target yalonyaka kwelisebe lokuthi makube khona amathuba emisebenzi elisebenzi ayi-million. Le department ke ikolo phulo lokuqinisekisa ukuthi le 1,300,000 iyafumaneka kulonyaka. Elisebe liye laqhuba kakuhle kunyaka mali odlulileyo ka-2015-2016 apho i-99.5% ye-budget yayo ethe yayichitha. Kwezi nyanga nje ezintandathu sezidlule isehafini yokuchitha i-budget yayo. Esiqinisekileyo ke thina njenge-African National Congress ukuthi kwawuthi kophela lo nyaka mali ibe i-targets zayo izifumene xa zizonke nochitho imali ibe ilufumene. Ngoko ke mhlali ngaphambili ohloniphekileyo siyi-African National Congress siyalixhasa le budget.
Thank you. That was a declaration on vote 11. Honorable members, there was no objection called on vote 11. We proceed to vote 12, and I put vote 12. Is there any objection to vote 12? There is no objection. I take it that the question has been agreed to. We proceed, therefore, honorable members, to vote 13. Is there any objection to vote 13? The DA objects. Is there any other objection? Declaration. The EFF's objection is noted. Any call for a declaration? None. There has not been any call for a division.
What now?
We are on vote 13. Yes. There has not been any call for any division, therefore, the objection of both the DA and the EFF have been noted, and therefore the question has been agreed to. We proceed to vote 14. Is there any objection to vote 14? The DA objects, the EFF objects. Anybody, any party for a declaration? The Honorable Hatton.
Dankie voorsitter. Op die 14 November 2016 tijdens 'n mede-konferensie wat deur die minister van basiese onderwys bijeengeroep is oor die sogenaamde vordering wat gemaak is in die lewering van skoolinfrastruktuur ingevolge die regulasies
oor die minimum en eenvormige norms en standaarde vir openbare skole is 'n infrastruktuur is die kritieke situasie in ons skole weer eens beklemtoon. It appears that for the minister, double standards are the norm when she makes utterances on minimum norms and standards in our schools. On the one side, the stark contrast between the idealistic picture she portrays to the world, and then on the other side, the reality of the shocking state of our schools as witnessed by us, NCOP members, during our recent oversight visits. Following hard on the heels of the 2015 Trends in International Mathematics and Science study indicating that South Africa has one of the worst education systems in the world, South Africa was ranked last out of 48 countries. A condemnation was issued in which all schools are instructed to promote senior level learners, grades 7, 8, and 9, who achieve only 20% for maths in 2016, they must be promoted. Up until now, learners have had to achieve a 40% mark for math in order to proceed to the next grade. Totally contrary to the NDP, which states that 90% of learners in grades 3, 6, and 9 must achieve 50% or more in mathematics. The DA cannot, with a minister completely in denial about the South African education crisis, the impact of SATO on education through its quest to capture education, and with the quality of education in a downward spiral, support the basic education budget. I thank you, Chair.
Any other declaration? The Honorable Zwane, the Honorable Khaila, is that for a declaration? Zwane?
Thank you, Chairperson. Siyakwamukela ukuthi umbuso oholwa ukhongolose ubone kubalulekile ukuthi umnyango wezemfundo uthole isixhamali esiphezulu kunayo yonke eminye iminyango. Lokhu kungenxa yobubanzi bomnyango nangobuningi bezidingo esizidingayo ngaphansi komnyango wamabanga aphansi. Ngiyafuna ukuthi umnyango wezemfundo usebunzimeni kusazothatha isikhathi ukuthi sithole ibudget eyanele ukuthi sibhekele zonke izidingo zomnyango wezemfundo wamabanga aphansi, because we inherited a legacy of the apartheid government that actually swamped the education of the black child. And it will take ages, it will take years for us to mop up the mess. And please be patient and wait for us.
Honorable Zwane, please take your seat. Honorable Dlamini, you are on your feet.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Just want to check, is it parliamentary for Honorable Hutting to say Nkandla government?
Thank you, ma'am. Can I rule? Honorable members, Honorable Hutton knows there is no Nkandla government. When members want to make you get off your speech, they will hurl whatever it is that will make you, in Afrikaans, I'll say, like you, tong biki striker. That's what he's doing. And I think that members should learn to concentrate on what they are saying despite being held. Proceed, Honorable Zwane.
Thank you, Chairperson. There are parties, Chairperson, in this House that do not have a debate except to refer to Nkandla or state capture, nothing else. The day that is sorted, they will have nothing to say. Izinsiza kufundisa zithunyelwa
Please do not
mahala
drown this
ezikoleni.
member, Honorable Julius.
Abafundi abaningi sebeyakwazi ukufinyelela ezikhungweni zemfundo ngenxa yokuthi uhulumeni okhona ubonelele ukuthi akube khona izimoto ezihambisa izingane ezikhokhelwa uhulumeni. Izingane ezikoleni ziphekelwa mahala. Okungenzeka ukuthi kweminye imindeni ehlwempu lokho kudla izingane ezikuthola esikoleni ikona kodwa ukudla kosuku. Izindlu zokufundela zakhiwa mahala uhulumeni. Siyazi ukuthi ziseyiningi izindawo ama-province la kufuneka sifinyelele khona, njengokuthi nje e-KZN kumzinyathi district, saya kofunda okuhle Machitshana koDlabesuthe, sathola ukuthi kusafuneka izindlu zokufundela eziningi kuhlanganisa kanye nama-laboratory kanye nama-library. Saya ko-Eastern Cape koKwezilokusa koTsembey koMzamo kule Deferred District, sathola ukuthi ziyaphekelwa iy'ngane, ziyadla kodwa kusafuneka izindlu ezingamakhishi ukuze kuphekelwa kwey'ngane kuhambe kahle kube ngaphansi kwemigomo efanele ezempilo. Saya koLimpopo koTsikaponi koMashawu koMasiya, sathola ukuthi lama classroom ayishisiwe, umnyango wezemfundo uswa replaceile ngama temporary structures. Ngifuna ukuthi ke umsebenzi owenziwa umnyango wezemfundo wezamabanga aphansi sihlalo uyabonakala. Ngakho ke sinazo zonke izathu njengokhongolose ukuyisupporta le budget. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable members, the objection of the DA or Honorable Khayla and Honorable Kaule are still on the floor. Please proceed.
Chairperson, the UDM supports the budget. Maybe we need to remind ourselves as a nation on what is the purpose of our education today. In answering this important question, we are forced to look at higher education in total isolation from the purpose of education in general. As we transform our society, we need to look at higher education and education in general as a necessary enabler and support to our total socio-economic goal as society. If we are involved in a radical economic transformation, surely we should prepare our people to take over the economy of their country. Education is a fundamental necessity for success in this noble agenda. It must be rejected that we have so many graduates who are sitting at home with inappropriate qualifications that are not responding to the needs of our economy. Some would have decided to study towards certain disciplines, not by deliberate choice, but due to lack of access to relevant study areas that are critical to skills gap in our economy. We need to consider the creation of single and seamless education system that interface at levels from early childhood development to higher education. We should go for a career education system that produces ready entrepreneurs. If we understand and accept education as an integral part of broader transformation project, as defined by the Education Charter, then issues of funding, its underlying principles, methods, and content shall be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Kaula.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, the IFP continues to be concerned about the fact that after 22 years of democracy, education in our country continues to be quality for those who can afford and to be poor education for those who cannot afford the poor. And this is a state of affairs that must be attended to. The department must improve so that education is the same throughout the country. A child who is in the rural areas, a child who is in a township must receive equal education to a child who is in a suburb, who is in a city, who is in a town. And secondly, Chairperson, we do want to commend the Honorable Minister for her guts to constitute a commission of inquiry into the issue of the selling of posts. Now the report is out, and we are glad as the IFP that what we have always been saying, that there is a union that is controlling education out there. This has been proven by this report, that posts have been bought in some instances, in some quarters of the country. And lastly, Honorable Chairperson, siyacela nje umnyango khona le program ya umnyango ekuthiwa i-recapitalization. Bakithi ake singavalwa phela izikole bese izingane zihlala emakhaya. Akuthi uma umnyango uthatha isinqumo lesi singaphusile sokuvala izikole ngenxa ukuthi kuthiwa izingane ezincane, ngenxa ukuthi kuthiwa izikole zisondelene nokunye nalezi kuthiwa zama junior primary kufuneka ziye kulezi kuthiwa zama senior primary nazo azibe nejuni. But the problem is where isikole sizovalwa bese izingane zinganikezwa i-transport ngoba izikole ezinye zikude. bese iy'ngane zicoshalisa zihlele emakhaya ngenxa yokuthi umnyango uthatha isinqumo sokuvala isikole kungekho iy'nhlelo ezenziwe ukuthi uma kuvalwa isikole iy'ngane zizokwenzekani. Uyaphila as IFP, these schools were built for a reason, they were built for a purpose. In many instances, it is communities who were putting together their own resources for the schools to be built so that children will be nearer when going to school. Now, when schools are closed and children suffer, it is a big, big problem. Inkathi yawucela umphakathi wase-South Africa azifundi iy'ngane.
Thank you, sir. Honorable members, the objection of the DA was noted. There was no call for a division. Therefore, we note the objection and the question has been agreed to. You are calling for a division. A division having been called for, we will proceed to put the question to the vote. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Those, thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Thank you. Are there any members who are abstaining? Honorable Isaac, did you raise your hand? Okay. There is no abstention. Can I have the results, please? Honorable members, the bus from, is it Acacia Park? Laboria has finally come and members have joined us. The order, members. In favor are 34, against are 14. There are no abstentions and therefore the question has been agreed to. We move on to vote number 15, higher education. Are there any objections to higher education? The Honorable Hutton.
Yes. And declaring and divide.
The objection of the DA has been noted. Any other objection? You are declaring also.
They say if you can't achieve your goals, lower your standards. So I think our next goal will be 10%. But Honourable Chair, on this vote, the allocation to students over the next 3 years continued in this budget amounts to approximately 17 billion in new funding. The 17 billion will be used to pay the bills of various categories of students. None of it will go to universities themselves. This amount must be seen in the context of the 120 billion shortfall for higher education and training over the next 3 years reported by the department only earlier in this week. Universities themselves continue to be underfunded. In order to survive and maintain standards, universities are forced to increase fees annually. Fees will continue to go up every year by unmanageable amounts in the absence of any remedy, and is none forthcoming from the government. And students will find themselves short of funds every year because of that. And the protest will go on until this is addressed, and it will not be during this government's rule. For this reason, we cannot support this budget. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other member wishing to make a declaration? The Honourable Stock.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Consistent with the Freedom Charter's clause that says the doors of learning and culture shall be open, and also consistent with the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of South Africa, Section 29, subsection 2. The ANC has progressively invested in the post-school education in order to free our people from the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. In the midst of fiscal constraints that our government has been able to increase the allocation to higher education and training sector. The Department of Higher Education and Training has made funding available for universities across the landscape of our country in order to develop the African languages and scientific languages. I know for a fact that a few universities have applied for this funding, but it's only a limited number of them that have applied. Therefore, I call upon on all universities across the country to actually take opportunity of the avail funding to develop the African languages. Despite the inadequate allocation, NSFAS continues to be an enabler to access and success in higher education and training. Since 2009, 1.5 honorable Hatting students have actually benefited from the scheme. Although the funding is not actually adequate, we are calling upon also private sector to actually assist our government to achieve this particular challenge. NSFAS was able also to recover more than 400 million from students that were actually owing NSFAS. I think it's a good achievement and it's also a good story to tell. We need also to applaud the department, and as the ANC, we support this budget vote of Department of Higher Education and Training. I thank you.
3 minutes is over, sir. Thank you. The DA has called for a division, and therefore we shall divide again. Those who are in favor of vote 15, please raise your hands. Thank you. Please put them down. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Honorable Smith, you only have one hand to raise in this house. Thank you very much. You're done. Any member wishing to abstain? None. The results? The results are as follows. Those in favor, 34. Those who are against, 14. Those who abstained, 0. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 16, and it is the vote on health. Is there any objection to this vote? Honorable Mpambo Shibukwane?
Declare. We object and declare.
You object and declare. Any other objections? None. Please proceed, ma'am, with the declaration.
Thank you, Chair. We as a country are in desperate need of the universal health care chairperson, better known as UHC. Because of our obligation to our fellow South Africans, the government has to consider all possible measures to ensure that people's right to health is truly realized and protected. South Africa as a country chairperson does attempt to meet this demand. However, the decision for the country to use NHI as a vehicle to achieve the goal of UHC should be reconsidered. And an example of how this method could have adverse effects could be found in Program 2, where NHIs are included. Even though 20% of the program's allocated budget was spent, the service delivery charges reached only 63%, Chairperson. In spite of this discrepancy between the numbers for expenditure and those for performance, a request was still made for 35 million environments for contracting under NHI. We as a government cannot support this request on adjustment. The DA's alternative policy of our health plan is a better approach to use to tackle this issue of fulfilling the UHC goal. Not only would the service delivery on health be fairer, it will be faster and affordable, but it will also, most probably and importantly, be more reliable. We cannot support this. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other? The Honorable Order on the medication part. You are on the floor, ma'am.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Allow me to acknowledge the leadership and the innovation of the ANC and its leaders even long before 1994. Because it is through this innovative and caring leadership and guided by the Freedom Charter of 1956, the Reconstruction and Development Programs, ANC policies, as well as the assistance of the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children Fund, that the government has since 1994 developed and implemented a comprehensive health policy and health plan to constantly improve the healthcare delivery system in South Africa by focusing on access, equity, quality, and sustainability in health sector. The ANC government inherited a society with massive disparities in access to healthcare, incomes, and otherwise. The apartheid government developed a healthcare system which was sustained through the years by the promulgation of racist legislation and the creation of institutions for the control of the healthcare sector, which is the specific aim of sustaining racial separation and discrimination in healthcare. Honorable Chair, in terms of Section 27 of the Constitution of South Africa, every person has the right to have access to healthcare services, and the state is responsible for creating the framework within which health is promoted and healthcare is delivered. It is also a major provider of health services, and a single comprehensive, equitable, and integrated national health system must therefore be created and legislated for. As the ANC, we support the health budget vote because it enjoins all South Africans to work together in retracing the legacy of apartheid legacy and ensure that our people have access to healthcare services and facilities. We want to express our utmost support of the efforts of the Minister of Health and the ANC to work tirelessly to transform the health sector and to improve healthcare delivery in South Africa in order to ensure that all South Africans have access to quality healthcare services that are equitable, sustainable, and adequate. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Kaula. I thought I saw your hand up. Honorable members, the division having been called for by the DA, we divide the House. Those who are in favor of the vote, vote 16, please raise your hand. Thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Thank you. Have you finished counting? Can I have those who are against? None. Against? My apologies. I wanted to say those who are abstaining, because I had just moved from the against. This thing called age catches up. May I have the results, please? Thank you very much. Honorable members, the votes are in. Those in favor, 32. Those who are against, 31. Those abstaining, 0. The question has therefore been agreed to. Okay, I think something is happening to me here. I wish to reread the results. Those in favor, 32. Those against, 11. Those who abstained, 0. The question has therefore been agreed to. Honorable members, we therefore move to vote number 17. Are there any objections to vote number 17? Yes, the DA?
Yes, Chairperson, we do object. And declare and divide. Thank you.
Thank you. The objection is noted. Any other objection? Please proceed with the declaration, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, due to a number of social development issues, such as the SASSA abrupt takeover of distributing social grants for 17 million South Africans when the contract with the current social provider of social development is just few months away from expiry. The sharp increase, Chairperson, of 5 million rand to 18.5 million for travel while we patiently continue to wait for the minister to account for the last year's international travel, costing the taxpayer 12 million, as well as the Office General irregular expenditures amounting to 1 billion from the taxpayers' coffers, are all issues which have failed to instill our confidence in the Office of Social Development, Chairperson. This office has a very specific mandate and obligation for South Africans, for the poor of the poorest, to ensure that the more poor South Africans and vulnerable members of our society are protected and catered for. However, Honorable Chairperson, even during these trying times of the drought, as well as the general instability of our country, the minister has still failed to be accountable to the Portfolio Committee and is yet to answer questions relating to his department's expenditure on non-core programs, while underperforming in the very essential programs the department is mandated to look after. Honorable Chairperson, the DA does not support this.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any other party that wishes to declare? Honorable Dlamini, the ANC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We note that EFF is voting with the DA, but decided not to sit in one place. Chairperson, we as the ANC would like to support the budget because of our history of caring about the marginalized and poor. If you look at this department, it is responsible for mostly women and children, especially the poor. We are not surprised, Honorable Chair, that EDA does not support this budget because they are not affected and they do not care about poor people. Babafuna kuphela nangabe kufanele babavotele. Chairperson, we are saying, if Bati agunga approval a budget.
Honorable Dlamini, Honorable
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Actually, the member who just made a statement about the EFF failed the Mpumalanga province.
That's not a point of order.
She thinks this is her household, and then she must know that we don't report to her.
No, that is not a point of order. Please take your seat. Thank you. Please proceed, Honorable Dlamini.
Kanye nabo laba bagcwele kubovu ngoba bangayisupport nje le budget chair EFF ne DA basho ukuthi abantu abadala bangayitholi pension because iculture ye DA lesasikhathi lesena abantu abamnyama bengabanikeza ipension basho ukuthi abantwana bangawatholi ama grants bonke kanye uma bangabe bangayisupport and thina sing ANC Chairperson asikuvumi lokho sithi abayithola. Just yesterday, Chairperson, si approve a bill 80 ama social workers estate nawo manje awakhone ukuthi adile nge-adoption. Into ebengendeki before, because EDA, ngalesa sikhathi sayo leyana, bebeyiprivatizile lento ye-adoption. Meaning that vele bantwana babantu labamnyama funa babe tinzanzane forever. Bangakhona ukugcina noma bafanele bagcine. But thina sing ANC-led government, we have just approved that social workers estate now are able ukuthi adile ngama adoptions. So we are saying, Chairperson, as the ANC caring for the poor and the marginalized, we do support this budget because yibo labantu abazivotelayo, we also care about their welfare, unlike the DA and the EFF.
The Honorable Kaula.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson. As a reminder, Honorable Chairperson, we are still waiting for the Minister to come to this House and respond to our questions. Because on the day when she was scheduled to appear here and respond to questions, she decided to run away. Honorable Chairperson, the concern continues that this department continues to be used for political gains by the ruling party. Wherever there are elections and wherever there are by-elections, the department is utilized for food parcels, which is not the objective of government, which is not the objective of the department. Actually, the department should be serving the poorest of the poor, irrespective of who they are, of where they are, of what time it is. And we just want to appeal to the department to please stick to the mandate of the department, serve the poorest of the poor accordingly. And secondly, the department is a concern they have underspent by 1 billion the past financial year, which is a great concern because very many poor out there are waiting for the department to come and service them. But because the department is focused on wrong objectives, it is not focusing on what it should be doing, then they go on underspending. When children are poor, when go-go's are not getting their money, when the increase is very minimal for what they are getting. So we just want to appeal to the department to begin to do justice to what they are mandated to do. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Khela. Order. Honorable Khela, you are protected.
Siyabulela Somlong. Chairperson can nginceda apha kumafika late.
Honorable Khela is protected.
Siyabulela Chairperson. Siya support the budget. However, sinengxaki no Minister wale department. I've written several letters to her. Malunga nabantwana abafumana grant. Omama babantwana abayinxilayo imali. So we're concerned about monitoring yale department. Uhulumende akanokhupha imali ingazenzi endumela bani yazenza. So into yokuqala leyo efuna ujonga kule department. Okwesibini, sibe nengxaki ngethenda ezikhutshwe kwaSASSA ezicentralized weyo yiminister. So into efuna kujongwe kule department. We cannot afford uba ne-situation ubana ii-tenders zicentralizwe zinikwa abantu abathile. So those are the two concerns of the UDM that need to be addressed. I thank you.
Thank you. The objection has been noted. The DA has also called for a division, so the House will go on to vote. Honorable members, those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Honorable Koni, only one hand works. Thank you. Have you finished counting? Thank you. There is no abstention. Thank you. Honorable members, the results are as follows. Those in favor, 33. Those who are against, 11. There was no abstention. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 18. Is there any objection to vote number 18? The EFF objects. Any other objection? The objection of the EFF has been noted. There has not been any call for a division. Therefore, the question has been agreed to, and we proceed to vote number 19. Is there any objection to vote number 19? The DA objects. Declare and divide. Any other declaration other than the DA? The DA, please, your declaration.
Thank you, Chairperson. The under-resourcing of the SANDF is a national crisis that the governing party does not openly want to admit, let alone address, Chairperson. The exact extent of the problem cannot be established due to a minister who uses national security as an excuse for not replying to questions properly, whilst all indications are that this country cannot fulfill its basic military obligations of defending our sovereignty. This same minister refuses to account to Parliament's Select Committee, having made excuses for not appearing on every single occasion since the start of the 5th Parliament in 2014. The SANDF cannot fulfill its constitutional mandate while being treated as an afterthought in the budget and will not be able to reach its target as set out in the Defence Review. What is more is that VIP flights, VIP jets, private trips for politicians and their extended families, friends, girlfriends, as well as other lavish political spending, amongst other forms of irregular spending, are being incurred while basic resources are being cut to the bare minimum and sometimes even beyond that. We will not see this department recover anytime soon under this minister. She must go. We cannot support this budget. Thank you, Chairperson.
Is there any other? Oh, the Honorable Mlambo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Order.
Angazi honorable member uyithatha phi indaba akhuluma ngayo ngoba akalona nelunga lekomiti to start with. And njengoba siphethe siwukhongolose angeke sizwe ngabo ukuthi sofaka bapho minister sikhiphe baphi. Njengokhongolose ngiyacabanga ukuthi sibhekile indaba ye defense, si concerned kakhulu sihlalo ukuthi I defense force yethu kune decline in terms of it being resourced. Kodwa ke siwukhongolose siyazi ukuthi izinto ezinjalo ziyalungiswa. Kuneinkulumo eziyaphambili between the Department of National Treasury ne Department of DOD. Manje thina sikhathazekanga ke siwukhongolose ngoba siyazi ukuthi lezo inkulumo zidila ngayo lento ye decline of resourcing our defense force. As the ANC, we support this budget vote ngoba siyazi ukuthi ukuphepha kwabantu basemzansi kusezandleni zale defense force yethu esithanda kakhulu. Uma becabanga ukuthi bazoyibhidliza ngalendlela abenza ngayo, sine Operation Corona egada ama borders, inamba zama members ne rotation yawo ama members SANDF kufuneka imali. Lenkulumo engikhuluma ngayo ke phakathi kwe treasury kanye ne DOD isiyisa endleleni ethi sizokwazi ukuvikela izwe lakithi. Sibabonge ke abagqoke i-uniform njengoba sizohamba siyobabona ngomhla ka 16 to the 17th eDRC sibaphathele nezinto eziphuma ekhaya ukuze baqhubeke njalo benze umsebenzi oncomekayo. Ngiyabonga sihlalo.
Ngiyabonga. Is there any other member wishing to make a declaration? None. The objection of the DA has been noted. They have also called for a division, so we are dividing. Honorable members, please, those who are against, please raise your hands. Against? Have you finished counting? Thanks. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished? Have you finished counting? Thank you, honorable members. The results are as follows. Those who are in favor, 32. Those who are against, 11. There was nobody who abstained. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to put vote number 20. Is there any objection to vote number 20? There is. The DA objects. Do you also declare? Is there any other objection? The EFF objects. Order. Order. Order now, Honorable Kun. Honorable members, the objection of the DA has been noted. There has not been any call for a division. Therefore, the question, the objection of the DA, the objection of the EFF has been noted. There has not been any call for a division. Therefore, the question has been agreed to, and we move on to put vote 22. Is there any objection to vote 22? 21. Vote 21, is there any objection? The DA objects. Object and declare. Is there any other objection? 21. The EFF objects. The DA declaration, please.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development makes adjustments to its budget at the cost of much-needed infrastructure, while the splurging of resources on non-essential items are not cut. In this sense, the department needs to get its priorities right to not only address the need for well-managed courts in every area of the country, but also by showing some will in being fiscally more effective. Furthermore, this budget fails to address the real problem with the department, the ever-increasing issues within our criminal justice system and state legal services. We do not support this budget, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you. The objection of the DA has been noted. The objection of the EFF has been noted. Are you on a declaration? Okay, it's a declaration.
Thank you, Chairperson. Eban bakuthi njengoba simile apha namhlanje siqoqa imali emayilungiselelwe ujustice. Kaloku niyayazi into uba iDA ngeke ivumele budget ngoba umo wethu usukela ngo-1912 oko sacinezelwa. Omantyi bakhona besazi uba noba umile esitishini funeka ugwetywe intambo. So I-history ke ihleli nabantu bayo zinkosi. Njengoba silapha nje thina siyi-African National Congress make siqale sibonge uThambo wakhe washiya ubuntwana bakhe wohlala eludingisweni. Sibonge noMadiba oke wenza kwakho inxaxheba uba sibe ngoku sine-constitution evunywayo ngumhlaba wonke. Ke ngoku into esiphezu kwayo yethi naba babomvu kaloku i-overall umo wayo is not something to do a professional work, and overall is a protective type of a clothing. So they cannot bring anything to us. And you must note bantu bakuthi uba njengoba benxibe ezi overall nje abafuni nani nobanitye ba protector kwale budget bingezi kuni. Bame phakathi kwe-budget nabantu bakaThambo. Singu ANC ke siyayazi into uba apho amanzi ayikhe emakhona aphindeme ngoba behleli nathi nje kukwazi into uba noko singabantu bembeko nabantu
Honorable
bokuxhasa.
Wana, please take your seat. Yes, Honorable Koni.
Ke a leboga modulasetilo. Chairperson ke kopa go atlhatlhelela ka bonako mme Wana gore ha re apara di-overall tse re boloka di-case tsa rona tse dintlentle tse le reng ha re di apere be re di apere bontle go ba gaisa. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, but that was not a point of order. Please continue, Honorable Wana. Honorable Koni. No.
You can't.
Honorable Koni, there is no point of I forgot here. So now you've got 2 points of orders running concurrently.
I don't want to put it in that way, Chairperson, because it will. Chairperson.
I will grant you, please sit down.
My protected
Honorable
Chairperson.
Wana.
Can
Continue.
the Honorable Wana please take a seat?
Yes, but into the future you will not have the concurrence.
Okay, Chairperson. Ke a go leboga modulasetilo. Chairperson, ke kopa go botsa Honorable Wana gore a o dira di condolences. Thank you.
Oh no, that is again not a point of order. The one that you forgot and was concurrent. Honorable Wana, please continue.
Ake mna mhlali ngaphambili ohloniphekileyo andiva nokuzana uba lokho laa nto ayitshoyo ayidibenanga nam. Bendisatsho ke bantu bakuthi uba xa nizawuhlala apho nimamele ke abantwana benu bethetha ngelaa hlobo. And i-ANC ke isiza nje nale budget iqoqile akukho kwanto engazukwenzeka ngoba nangoku sixakwe ngomnye umlungu ufanto engamqandanga okwakhona kule nto yomosha ijustice yethu ngoba kaloku history want to repeat itself. Thank you, African National Congress, to put the relevant people to the strategic positions that they can drive this transformation, because it's not going to take 2 years or 10 years. Because thina singabantwana abacinezelekileyo kangangubana ngoku njengoba silapha nje siyayazi into uba will never succeed early than we have prepared. Ngenxa yoba EDA every day is dragging us down. And for that, thank you, Chairperson. Siyayamkela le budget kaThambo.
Thank you. The DA objected and declared you did not call for a division. There be no call for any division. We note the objection of both the DA and the EFF, and therefore the question has been agreed to on vote 21. We therefore proceed to vote 22. Is there any objection to vote 22? There is no objection to vote 22. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed to vote 23. Is there any objection to vote 23? Please proceed. Is there, the objection is noted. The objection of the EFF has also been noted. There is a declaration from the DA. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. Department of Police is one of the best funded but worst managed of all. Every day South African citizens have to live in increasing fear as violent crimes are on the increase. This is due to the under-resourcing of our SAPs at station level. inadequate training to deal effectively with these crimes, a breakdown of trust between civil society and the police, and a serious lack of integrity and fitness for purpose on the part of its leadership. Our citizens have to live in fear whilst the department is spending almost 50% more on protecting politicians. ANC VIPs are now more than ever being protected against the same violence that it fails to protect the public from. A DA government will reprioritize this budget so that it focuses on making not politicians but you, the public, safer. Chairperson, we do not support the ANC VIP protection budget. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other party that wishes to make a declaration? Thanks. There has not been any call for a division. Therefore, we note. Oh, Honorable Klimbi.
Sorry, Chairperson. We divide.
Yes.
My mistake.
Honorable Klimbi on a declaration.
Yes, I thought that the day will start, Chairperson. Thank you. Chairperson, let mandate enyani silothi amapolisa esinawo anomahluko omkhulu kumapolisa ayekhona before 1994. Umahluko omkhulu kakhulu. And Chairperson, our police, internally, the police have undergone a significant transformation and are implementing demilitarization and professionalism as key tenets of policing, as well as building working relations with communities. This is event through programs such as their school safety programs and mobile police clinics. Therefore, a number of promising initiatives are taking place to improve policing. To this end, SAP is implementing a back-to-back basic program to improve policing. As a result of this approach, Chairperson, some positive changes are already evident. A reduction in cases that are older than 1 year, better usage of forensic leads in cases, improved firearm recovery, the establishment of specialist units for narcotics and illegal firearms control. SAPS has implemented programs with detectives to ensure trial-ready documents and has specialized training and has adopted recruitment strategies to address the matter of ensuring training and professionalism within SAPS. However, some real challenges remain with SAPS, include conduct crimes and crimes in general still remain high. Although there are community-safe forums in provinces, most of them are not working effectively. In a recent victim survey conducted, it was clear that society does still not feel safe and secure with our levels of crime. SAPS still has a long way to go to ensure demilitarization. Public order policing training needs to be strengthened. SAPS has limited vehicles per ratio to staff, and vehicle maintenance remain a challenge. Chairperson, it is important to bear in mind the constant challenges faced by our men in blue, such as gangsterism, drugs, violence, and intolerance towards SAPS members. All these factors continually affect their ability to ensure the safety of our citizens. I think phinde kwakhona, Chairperson. You know, xa kunethe
Gqibile ixesha
imvula,
lakho, mhlekazi.
iphelile. Oh,
3
you know,
minutes iphelile. Ngiyabonga. The Democratic Alliance, having called for a division, we divide. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. You have finished. Those who are against, please raise your hands. You have finished counting? Thank you. Any member wishing to abstain? None. May I have the results, please? The results? Thank you, honorable members. The results are in. There were no abstentions. 31 members voted in favor. 12 members voted against. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We move on, honorable members, to vote number 24. Are there any objections, Honorable Schmidt?
We object and divide.
You are not declaring?
No.
Thank you very much. That you object? The objection is noted. Ntate Geila, are you objecting? Okay. Can we then start with the declarations? Honorable Schmidt, you are not declaring? The declaration, Ntate Geila?
Chairperson, the United Democratic Movement supports the budget and is encouraged by the improvement of the department, in particular with regard to budget spending, filling of SMS level vacancies, as well as management and operation of the department's fishing vessels. However, agriculture remains stuck below the 3% line in our GDP. A contributing factor thereto is the lack of land ownership by black farmers. The public announcement by the Deputy Director General of the Department on Monday, the 24th of October instant, with regard to the target of no less than 50 emerging black farmers per province. That will be supported to become commercial farmers of food is appreciated. In this regard, the department is encouraged to ensure that this policy statement is translated into a concrete plan that will be implemented with achievable timeframes. Further, the department may also be encouraged to report more on this program. The department must ensure that farmers have ownership of the land. The department should immediate effect train its personnel so that they are fully equipped to skill and help emerging farmers. I thank you.
Thank you, Ted. The Honorable Singh.
Thank you, Chair. The ANC rises in support of the adjustment appropriation vote, agriculture, forestry and fisheries. Agriculture, forestry and fisheries remain one of the sectors that offers the real possibility of massive job creation and the revival of rural economy. The ANC has identified this as one of the strategic productive sectors of the economy that is, in terms of the office of government, should focus on. In order to ensure the realization of this priority, the ANC has correctly identified and increased investment in rural infrastructure and supports production and market opportunities as key. Financing of agriculture and rural development consist with the commitments of the heads of state and governments as reflects in the 2003 Maputo Declaration remains critical. The adjustment in this vote of fund provides critical adjustment support to students who are undertaking agriculture-related studies in our drive to increase the interest in youth in taking up farming. Support is also given through the adjustment of agriculture colleges for student tuition and books. Transfers to the National Research Foundation are also captured by this adjustment. With regard to the drought, the announcement of the Minister of Finance on the drought relief, the adjustment vote captures the money that has already been provided for drought relief in terms of PFMA. The R212 million funds, provides for the drought relief to farmers. The adjustment to this vote will assist in contribution to providing the quality
Your
of
time has
local
expired.
investment growth, especially in rural areas. We support this vote.
Is there any other member wishing to declare? None. The DA has called for a division. We therefore divide ourselves. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Those who are against? Thank you. Have you finished counting? Is there any abstention? None. Honorable members, the results are in. 32 members have voted in favor, 12 members have voted against. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We move on, honorable members, to vote number 25. Are there any objections? The DA objects. The EFF objects. Are there any declarations? There being no declarations, there being no divisions called for, the question has been agreed to, having noted the objections of the TA and the EFF. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 26. Are there any objections? The EFF objects. Are there any declarations? The objection of the EFF is noted, and therefore the question has been agreed to. We proceed to vote number 27. Are there any objections to vote number 27? The EFF objects, the DA objects. Are there any declarations? No, he raised his hand. Thank you very much. It is emphatically supported, and I must have misread the hand that went up. Okay. Honorable members, the objection of the EFF is noted. There be no division called. We proceed to accept the vote on 27 and proceed to put the question on vote number 28. Are there any objections? The DA objects, the EFF objects. Are there any declarations? The DA, honorable members, you seem to start talking in tongues. Are there declarations?
Yes, Object.
Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the country is in a serious crisis of lack of jobs, and the Department of Labor is not helping in assisting in fixing this. And having said this, I want to quickly deal with evidence and facts and numbers, because numbers don't lie. We can't be emotional about these things, no matter how much we want to be. And here is the evidence, Honorable Chair. In the third quarter of 2016, 136,000 more people became jobless, bringing the total to over 9 million people who are now unemployed. In this environment and in the circumstances, the Department of Labor has failed to achieve its target for land reform, and the minister continues to operate this department and run it like his household. And this is characterized by her personal appointments of friends and relatives, protecting her own friends from scrutiny and accountability, and not dealing with the internal failures. And thus people continue to be jobless and jobless every day. And therefore, Honorable Chair, we want to place it on record that it would be completely reckless and irresponsible for the Democratic Alliance to support this, because in this vote, the department and the minister, they want us to agree to a budget of virements for overseas travel, luxury hotels, fancy office equipment, and the like. And therefore, we would not support this. And as a Democratic Alliance, we're placing it on record that we are not supporting this vote and will vote no.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Ntebe, and followed by Honorable Khela. Honorable Ntebe.
Chair, on behalf of the African National Congress, we want to rise and support the budget for common reasons. One, that over the period of 2 years or so, there has been a maintenance of industrial peace, particularly driven and championed by this department. But we also know that the sources in which these, our learned friends from the far right are sourcing their information is never correct. What we should tell them is that job creation cannot be and will never be the responsibility of Department of Labor and Department of Labor alone. It's given. Where you need investments of resources for stimulation of a conducive environment for job creation, it's a concurrent function over many departments. And we therefore want to urge our learned friends that take some effort to understand the responsibility of the Department of Labor. What we know that you are opposing is the current amendment in the UIF section, which includes others, the inclusion of the 18.1 and 18.2s, because what you stand for is for the protection of those who are sitting on the other side, maximizing profit and looking down on the others who need job creation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Khela.
Siyabulela mamusihlalo. Siyabulela mamusihlalo. I-UDM iyayisupporta le budget. But ikhona ingxaki ekhoyo engcibane ibetha sorry ngosinceda apha mama.
Order. There is a member on the floor.
Ikhona ingxaki ekhoyo engcibana ingasinceda sonke nawe ingakunceda nje ubuhlela lapho mama. Inganceda lamalungu eParliament wonke. Apha sinezikhalazo ezininzi apha eParliament. Sabantu abangafumani imali zabo zepension. Ubani uphulaphula umhlobo wenene ekusuku 12 down kukhala abantu. Now ezi pensions abantu mama zihlala kwi-fund managers ezininji. And kuyacaca banezi fund managers azifuni ubaxelela abantu, abanye bayasweleka behlupheka, abantwana babaye ezikolweni. Now le department lena siyacela ubana mayithathe inxaxheba yobana ekhangela ezimali kwezi fund managers ibazisa abantu bakuthi bafele endlaleni. And ngokubona kwami endicinga ubana nani ufuneka niyicinga ninonke ningamalungu aseMzantsi Afrika ubana kungenziwa kanjani, because abantu imali zabo zihlala kwi-fund managers zitshone zifunyanwe ngongxowe enkulu, because there is no reason ubana ezi mali zingafunyanwa, and this is the only department enonceda abantu abana. Inkosi.
Thank you. The objection of the DA, the objection of the EFF have been noted. There was no call for a division. Therefore, the question has been agreed to, and we proceed to vote number 28, 29, mineral resources. Is there any objection? DA, you object? Yes. There is objection from the DA. Is there any declaration? No, no. There is a declaration, the Honorable Singh.
Thank you, Chair. The ANC rises in support of the adjustment appropriation vote, mineral resources. As the primary sector, it ensures that there is substantive contribution to the GDP of this country and remains one of the largest employers. Mineral sector will, through the beneficiation of mineral wealth of this country, assist in diversifying the economy, which is critical in addressing the primary economic challenge, transforming the structure of the economy from a colonial and apartheid structural dependence on the exploitation and expropriation of raw material to an economy that is diversified and able to develop across sectors, thus ensuring greater employment. The framework agreement for the substantial mining industry, which has led to significant stabilization in the mining industry, has to be supported to ensure enhanced stability in the mining industry. This, coupled with stabilization, investment, and expropriation of and mining, and thereby improving performance in the industry. Beneficiation must be
Your
a
time.
principal driver in our mineral resources regime, and we support this vote.
Thank you. Is there any other declaration? The DA has called for a division. We therefore divide the House. Those who vote in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. Honorable members, the votes are in. Those who are in favor are 31, those who are against, 12. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 30. Are there any objections? The objection of the EFF is noted. Is there any declaration? The objection of the EFF is noted. The question has been therefore agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 31. Are there any objections? You object? The objection of the DA is noted. The objection of the EFF is noted. There is a division being called for. Therefore, we divide. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. No member has abstained. The results, please. Thank you, honorable members. The results are in. 32 members are in favor, 12 members are against. There is no abstention, therefore, the question has been agreed to. We move on, honorable members, to vote number 32. Vote number 32, is there any objection? The EFF objects, the DA objects. Is there any declaration? There is no declaration. There is no division called for. There being no division called for, the objection of both the EFF and the DA is noted. The question has been agreed to. We proceed to vote number 33. Is there any objection? The EFF's objection is noted. Is there any declaration? No declaration has been called for. Is there any division? No division has been called for. Therefore, the question has been agreed to, and we do note the objection of the EFF. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 34. Is there any objection? The EFF objects. The DA objects. Is there any declaration? No declaration. Is there any division called for? No division has been called for. The objection of both the DA and the EFF are noted, and the question is agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 35. Are there any objections? The DA objects, the EFF objects. Are there any declarations? Okay. A division has been called for. Honorable members, those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Honorable members, thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. May I have the results? Honorable members, no member has abstained. 32 members are in favor, 32 members are in favor, and 12 members are against. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed to put the question on vote number 36. Is there any objection? The DA objects, the EFF objects. Are there any declarations? The DA declares, please proceed.
Protection, please, Chairperson. Protection from.
You are protected, ma'am, proceed.
Chairperson, although there seems to be general increase in the expenditure and performance of this department, for the mid-year 2016, the office is still plagued by a number of shortfalls, such as, firstly, the lack of blue and green drop reports. They haven't been there. 290 million expenditure in only one imported mobile desalination plant, a 0% assessment of all 963 wastewater treatment plants, and fourthly, only 42% assessment of 1084 drinking water treatment plants. Chairperson, water and sanitation, as you know, are essential constitutional right for all South Africans. It is therefore not only imperative but also constitutional obligation to take certain measures to ensure that people's rights relating to water and sanitation are truly realized and protected. Failure to do so should not be at the expense of the citizens of the country, but should be a reflection of your incompetency, Minister Nomvula Mokonyana, which would also serve as a reflection that is, Minister should vacate this office. She is useless. Until these failures are attended to, we the DA do not support the adjusted budget. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member wishing to make a declaration? None. Does the DA divide? You're calling for a division. Honorable members, those in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you very much. The results, please. Thank you, honorable members. 32 members have voted in favor, 11 members have voted against. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. We proceed, honorable members, to vote number 37. Are there any objections to vote number 37? The DA objects, the EFF objects. Are there any declarations on the amendment? Are there divisions called for? We note the objection of both the EFF and the DA, and the question is agreed to. We move on, honorable members, to vote number 38. Are there objections to this vote? The EFF objects, the DA objects. Are there declarations on this? No, your hand was up, Honorable Spambo Spukwana, when I was asking for. Thank you. Okay. Honorable members, we note the objection of the EFF on vote number 38. Are there any members? Order. Are there any members wishing to make declarations on this vote? No? You want to declare? Please proceed with the declaration.
On our support, Chairperson, we want to convey these concerns as the Democratic Alliance. We have a number of concerns that pertain to the expenditure of this office. Firstly, we are concerned about the allocation of about 5% of the 889,623 of the rectification program, Chairperson. In our opinion, this kind of expenditure would have been unnecessary had the NHBRC, the National Home Builders Registration Council, completed its work properly by working with the other spheres of government. Chairperson, secondly, we are also concerned about the general underspending of this department. One of the areas which concern us most is the RHIG, the Rural Housing Infrastructure Grant underspending, which is there to assist and empower vulnerable people from our rural areas, the poor South African citizens. This also relates to our third concern of the general under-expenditure in housing opportunities across our country in 9 provinces. Notwithstanding these issues, Chairperson, we as the DA support this budget and will continue to maintain the position of monitoring very closely and intensively the progress of this department. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Mutara.
Thank you, Chairperson. Since the ANC has assumed responsibility to govern South Africa, we have put in place progressive policies that wants to see the complete eradication.
Honorable Mutara, please take your seat. What is the point of order, sir?
It's so strange, Chairperson, that I raise a point of order. But there was, you repeatedly asked for any declarations, and the ANC never put up a hand. They come afterwards the whole day, wasting our time and writing it on tissue papers.
Honorable Julius, that order. There is no point of order from Honorable Julius. Sit down, please. Order. I have been asking members whether there were any other members. And when I did that, other members who had not raised their hands have been doing. So I've been very consistent on this one. So, Honorable Julius, your point of order is not a point of order. Honorable Mutara, please proceed.
Chairperson, as I read from my prepared page, not a tissue paper, let me just say that the ANC has assumed responsibility to govern South Africa. We have put in place progressive policies that want to see the complete eradication of the legacy of apartheid. We've done this by passing laws in this parliament. In terms of Section 26 of the Constitution, everyone has the right to have access to adequate housing, and the state, through the Department of Local Government and Housing, must take reasonable measures within its available resources to achieve this progressive realization of this right. Chairperson, the ANC government has moved with utmost speed and decisiveness to ensure that access to housing becomes an integral part of our national quest and commitment to reduce poverty, but most importantly, improve people's quality of life for the people of South Africa. We have taken this bold undertaking because we are well aware that our nation and communities have suffered indelible damage from the long years of apartheid settlement and preferential treatment. Today, we rise with utmost pride and humility to say, as the ANC, that we have moved to dismantle the legacy of apartheid in our communities. We have championed one of the massive programs in the world to house a nation that was left destitute in its own country of birth and whose right to decent housing was criminalized by a string of racially orchestrated legislation as well as policies. Therefore, in continuing with this quest to restore the dignity to our South African people, we want to support and will continue to support the Department of Housing's budget vote. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Order. The Objection of the EFF has been noted. The question is agreed to. We then proceed on to vote number 39. Are there any objections to vote number 39? The DA objects. The EFF objects. And the DA calls for a division. We therefore divide ourselves. Those in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished? Thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. Honorable members, the votes are in. There is no abstention. Those who voted in favor are 32. Those who voted against are 12. The question, therefore, has been agreed to. We move on to vote number 40. Are there any objections? The DA objects. The EFF objects. Are there any declarations? No declarations. Are there any divisions? No divisions. We note the objection of the DA, the objection of the EFF. The question has therefore been agreed to. Honorable members, that concludes the consideration on the votes. I shall now put the schedule. Are there any objections to the schedule being agreed to? No? There have been no objections. I'm not sure I'm hearing any objection. Okay, there being no objection, the schedule has been agreed to. Order. I shall now put the question in respect of the second order of today, and the question is that the bill be agreed to. In accordance with our rules, I shall now allow political parties to make declarations if they so wish. Honorable Esak on a declaration. Honorable Mutara, please proceed.
You want me to go there, ma'am?
No, you're fine where you are. You are on the floor, Honorable Esak.
Chairperson, yes, thank you for the opportunity. The Adjustments Appropriation Bill was tabled by the Minister of Finance on the 26th of October 2016 as part of his midterm budget policy statement, giving effect to the appropriation of monies from the National Revenue Fund for the 2016-17 financial year. Since the 2013-14 financial year, irregular expenditure has increased by almost 40%, amounting to over 46 billion rand. The continued lack of effective controls and supply chain management processes are the main culprits that contribute to this increase in irregular expenditure. 89% of irregular expenditure arose in the procurement of goods and services, as highlighted by the Auditor General. The Auditor General has further highlighted 6 entities that were responsible for over 50% of irregular expenditure for 2015-16, including, of course, the famous PRASA and the Department of Water and Sanitation. The common practice of inflated prices for procurement of goods and services are, of course, often due to family and friends. The main reasons, as we have stood here, year in and year out, Chairperson, continue to be the fact that management remains unwilling and unable to identify and address the risks and, of course, improve management controls, including internal controls. Instability and vacancies in key positions with many unqualified municipal managers throughout the municipalities and provinces continue to affect financial management, resulting in lackluster performance year in and year out. Chairperson, the DA notes that the economy is, of course, only growing at 0.1%. At this rate, we will not achieve a long-term minimum growth of 5.4% to create the needed 11 million jobs by 2030. We continue to give more money to departments who have previously underperformed continuously. In conclusion, Chairperson, this country desperately needs to get its politics right. We have a president who is unable to steer South Africa towards calmer economic waters due to his continuous corrupt behavior and controversial relationships. Therefore, with due respect, Chairperson, but the Democratic Alliance cannot support this bill. I thank you.
The Honorable Mutara.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the bill has the following service delivery implications, which we have noted both as a committee and as the ANC, that the aggregate expenditure of all votes by the end of September 2016 was 49%, with a projected under-expenditure for the financial year at 3 billion rand. In most instances, under-expenditure speaks to a lack or slowing down of service delivery, and we raise this as a concern. Unspent funds have been declared this year as being 1.3 billion, but this is compared to 3.18 billion in the 2015-16 budget year, financial year, and this also speaks to service delivery, which will be improved if unspent funds increase or decrease. Sorry, the rollovers amounted to 412 million, which is a substantial decrease when compared to the 2015-16 financial year, which was at 1.6 billion rolled over. We want to see that rollovers decrease because this will speak to better planning by different departments. The ANC supports the adjusted budget as it seeks to address, amongst others, the shortages that the drought has created. It seeks to stabilize the state-owned entities, deliver on our transformational agenda as the ANC, which some are against realizing. We are committed to growing our economy as we continue to fund our priorities. At no stage, as the ANC, will we place additional burden on those we are responsible for by cutting back on our service delivery priorities. Some of the economic programs and strategic partnerships that government has entered into are now creating employment, stimulating the economy, and we will see those partnerships contributing directly and indirectly to the GDP. We are committed to service our debt, use public funds prudently, stop wastage, as well as redirect funds when an urgent need arises. We commend now that the various government departments are making strides to adhere to PFMA regulations. There are vast improvements, and therefore, we as the ANC support this bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kaula.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. South Africa continues to be plagued by shaky and unstable leadership, which has an adverse effect in the stability of the economy of the country. The recent 0.2% minimal increase report in our country's GDP, which was way below the projected 3%, is a pointer that a lot of stability needs to be effected in our governance in order to move towards the economic recovery of the country. Audit reports by the Auditor General also continue to be cause for concern in the goings on. Irregular expenditure, fruitless expenditure, and no consequence management for the culprits are some of the worrying issues. Whilst the IFP acknowledges satisfactory performance in our national treasury, at least politically, the continued attacks at the minister by state agencies is not assisting in any way. During the course of this financial year, the IFP has queried the rationale behind intended and planned attacks at our treasury by the state agencies. We posed a question to the Deputy President in this regard in this very same house. The Deputy President agreed with us that this was not good for the country. I am raising this, Honorable Chairperson, because it was in December 2015 that Minister Nene was axed, probably for the very same reasons that Honorable Gordon is being pursued for. We sincerely hope that December 2016 will not see a repeat of December 2015 in the shake-up of government. The IFP has always called for the country's state-owned enterprises to be streamlined and redirected to the line function departments in order to avoid the continued duplication and cut costs. It is of no use to continue having a department that is overseeing SOEs on behalf of other departments when they can do so on their own. In this year's MTBPS, the minister has indeed called for common good spending and avoidance of unmanageable debt. Government has in all the previous years been calling for doing more with less, but this is a call that is not replicated in practice. The extravagant spending by ministers, MECs, premiers, and deputy ministers and mayors on government vehicles does not reflect a government that is concerned about doing more with less. The IFP supports the adjusted budget, like we have done in Mogale City. Not because everything is smooth, but because the country must continue to operate. When we raise issues as the IFP, we do so that defense. We also wish to appeal to honorable members that members of parliament are not spokespersons of departments, but legislature plays oversight role over departments. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. Honorable members, we shall now proceed to the voting on the questions. Honorable members, those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Have you finished counting? Thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Those who are against, please raise your hands. Have you finished? Why do those two hands look the same? Thank you very much. The votes, please. Thank you, honorable members. 31 members have voted in favor, 11 members have voted against. Therefore, the question has been agreed to. I shall proceed, therefore, to put the question in respect of the third order. And the question is that the bill be agreed to. In accordance with Rule 63, I shall allow political parties to make declarations if they so wish. The DA?
Chairperson, thank you again for the opportunity. Colleagues, the Democratic Alliance cannot support the finance bill because we do not support unauthorized expenditure. The unauthorized expenditure incurred by the Department of Home Affairs, Transport, Water and Sanitation have of course amounted to millions. If you apply your mind and listen, you will be educated. Section 34(1)(a) of the Public Finance Management Act provides for the authorization of unauthorized expenditure.
Order, members.
Chairperson.
Order.
I'm being drowned out, Chairperson.
Yes, you are drowning out.
Okay, Chairperson, let's try again. Section 34(1)(a) and (b) of the Public Finance Management Act provides for the authorization of unauthorized expenditure. The DA cannot condone the overspending while South Africa continues to be faced with unemployment, overspending, poverty, and inequality. The DA cannot condone the authorization of over 2.9 billion rand unauthorized expenditure between 2006 and 2013. There continues to be a significant decline in the finalization of financial misconduct cases nationally, and these cases have now amounted to 66.5 million rand in 2016 alone, colleagues. Yet, let me touch a sensitive nerve, yet further proof that this ANC government has a poor record in dealing with financial misconduct. And the bill makes provision for unauthorized expenditure to be recovered from the responsible officials of this government. But there seems to be no respect for the law. How much money has been recovered, Chairperson? Nothing. Nothing. Luto. The DA cannot and will not support this bill. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir. Is the Honorable Mutara? Order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I think it will assist that members explain the difference between unauthorized expenditure and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Unauthorized expenditure is spending that has been done without following particular processes within the PFMA. Services have been provided for, number one, but
You will not drown out speakers.
services have been provided for, but in instances, for example, where you could not get 3 quotations, as an example, the money has been spent, it may be unauthorized. It's not fruitless, it's not wasteful. So a service has been provided. Your obsession with unauthorized expenditure is unhealthy. Now, the issue that we have is that the law makes provision, and even the Auditor General, as well as the PFMA, recognizes that there will be instances where spending will happen in an unauthorized manner. And where it happens, Parliament is in a position to correct that expenditure. And that is what we are doing. There has been unauthorized expenditure in the instance of service delivery where there has been crises, where you have to spend over the amount of a tender amount. It can't go to tender, so you have to spend the money. That is the process that we are undertaking now. It is correcting that anomaly which has taken place. Fruitless and wasteful expenditure we also frown upon. But unauthorized expenditure is completely different from fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The Auditor General explained it, the PFMA explains it, and the law makes provision for it. It is not unlawful. And in that instance, we support the finance bill because we want to correct instances where we have spent money and we will continue to spend money, whether it's unauthorized, and correct it using the law in that process. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member wishing to make a declaration? None? Order! 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 Order, members. Order. Honorable members, we shall now proceed to put the question, and the question is that the bill be agreed to. There is objection. I am going to put the question. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. Those who are against, now put your hands up. Have you finished counting? Thank you. The results, please. Thank you. Order, members. 32 members have voted in favor, 12 members have voted against. The question has therefore been agreed to. I shall now proceed, honorable members, to put the question in respect of the fourth order. And the question is that the report be agreed to. I will again proceed to allow the opportunity for declarations by political parties if they so wish. The provinces. Is there any province that wishes to make a declaration? None? Is there any objection to the report being agreed to? The report has been agreed to. Honorable members, we now proceed to, I think, the last item of today. And I want to afford the members an opportunity to say goodbye to one another. The first person on my list is the Honorable Mohai.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and once more, distinguished special delegates and honorable members. Our Chief Whip of the National Council of Provinces. Today marks the most important moment in the calendar of events in the National Council of Provinces as a premier institution of the democratic governance. This coincides with the global context of fundamental shifts in socio-economic landscape characterized by widening levels of poverty, unemployment, and inequalities, which by far surpasses the fiscal capacity of the modern democratic states. As we reflect on the year under review, we ought to do so mindful of how these shifts impact on our assumptions and practice of democratic governance, which is our main task as a democratic parliament. There is no doubt that failure of a democratic state to respond to these challenges diminishes the confidence of the people not only in a political party in power, but the whole concept of democratic governance. The global pattern of low turnout during elections is amongst key manifestations of this phenomenon. How does this narrative play itself in a contemporary South African political landscape and its implication to democratic governance and its institutions? At a broad macro-societal level, these have precipitated a renewed upsurge of racism and ultra-left regrouping and its associated danger of right-wing opportunism. Honorable Chair, the ANC has never shied away from acknowledging these realities and in dealing with them decisively. There is no other party in this country that has ever had such much policy discourse on radical economic transformation, people's participation in governance and comprehensive social security like the ANC. This discourse has translated in concrete policies in socio-economic space, which include, among others, 100 Black Industrialist Program, localization of procurement, and different forms of social grants, and the rising state of expenditure on social wage. Cognizant of these challenges, the ANC has rightly declared this year as a year of advancing people's power. Local government is in your hands with clearly defined policy priorities. That critical amongst these remain the radical socio-economic transformation, building a democratic developmental state, fighting corruption, safety and security, and sound financial management. We are confident that despite difficulties in the global economic space, our vision of a better life for all will be realized. The ANC-led government has consistently ensured investor confidence as part of a drive to grow our economy, which has yielded positive results in many respects. It requires no rocket science to know that South Africa's economy is one of the most resilient in the world, and we owe it to the tireless efforts of our leadership in ensuring that we still focus our attention in this. We close this year with fresh memories of two critical issues that have persistently occupied the front line of media reports. One is the issue of higher education crisis and the challenges facing the ANC as a leading party of the revolution in our country. We owe the resumption of learning and writing exams to the leadership of the Ministry of Higher Education, university principals, and other organs of civil society, who rallied under the banner of Save 2016 academic year. More efforts in the form of increased budget for student loans and bursaries have been allocated as part of our intervention to address the higher education crisis. More policy dialogue is needed to address the broader challenge of higher education in transformation of our country. South Africans across color and political spectrum take inspiration in the manner in which the ANC has openly dealt with its internal political and organizational challenges. This is a fundamental attribute of a party of a revolution that leads society beyond its membership. For the people to have trust in a political party, it should be open about its challenges and deal with them in a transparent manner. Honorable Chairperson, allow me, as I bid farewell to my colleagues in this august House, to equally express personal honor in the trust bestowed upon me by the African National Congress as a chairperson of its parliamentary caucus. In doing this, further express my fondest appreciation of respect and support I have enjoyed from my party colleagues this year. But above all, I'm equally inspired by the selfless commitment of the cadres of my organization in serving the people of South Africa with honor and diligence. And lastly, Chairperson, the ANC calls on all public representatives during this festive season to join the rest of the people of South Africa whilst enjoying their season's rest, to not lose sight of the Highness Act in our communities, those who always all out to perpetuate violence against women, children, and vulnerable people in our communities. We need to join community struggles against these criminal activities and ensure that they are isolated for the better. And we thank you, Honorable Chairperson, in your capacity as leader of this institution, for ensuring that the NCOP remains focused to attend to its very critical agenda of ensuring that the people of South Africa find the center of discussions and debates and continue to resolve their people on a daily basis. Thank you very much, honorable members. Let's find rest.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Labuskaghni.
Honourable Chairperson, as South Africans, we, as many other nations, at the end of the year celebrate a tradition to prepare for the festive season. We look forward to spend more time with our loved ones, families and friends. We share stories of achievements and challenges, of failure and successes, and what the future may hold for us. In reflection of our challenges and achievements, one has to acknowledge significant factors contributing to where we are today. A young democracy whose ultimate task it is to uphold the Constitution to its full functions, to govern responsible and effectively to ensure a future for all the people of South Africa. Our history is characterized by injustice and inequality, but also bears evidence of a resilience based on the capacity to forgive, accept and build a future on the strengths of our diversity through tolerance of our different traditions, cultures and customs. As a nation, we embraced and started on the road of reconciliation, redress and creating a country where all South Africans have the opportunity to prosper and grow to their own full potential. Honourable Chair, 2016, however, can be defined as a year with increased incidences of racism, violence, some politically inspired poverty, a growing burden of disease, and a lack of caring and empowerment of the vulnerable people in our society. A slow-growing economy with job losses in various sectors, such as mining, and a national drought disaster, which has been the worst in 50 years. A water and water infrastructure crisis, all contributing to the highest unemployment rate since 1994. The crisis in higher education on affordability for a diverse society further led to violent strikes and closing down of some colleges and universities, jeopardizing the skills and qualifications of our youth, the future of our country. South Africa faced downgrading from international agencies, which culminates into investors' insecurity and a lack of stimuli for essential economic growth. South Africa also experienced the local government election, signifying inevitable change in the political landscape of South Africa. Honourable Chair, to be able to determine our successes and failures, we need to take a hard look at ourselves as political leaders in the NCOP. The way we conduct our programs, the select committees, multi-party whips meetings, programming meetings, and all other structures of the Council tells the story of our effectiveness as political leaders. I want to acknowledge the improvement in the fact that debates on notions of motives are being opened and closed by the member introducing the motion in the House, which might be of little importance to a great group of people, but displays fairness and democracy in the House as enshrined by the Constitution. Progress has been made in the reviewing of the rules of the Council, and hopefully it could be completed in 2017. Our first priority, however, is to create an environment where effective, fair and good legislation is being developed to regulate important issues in society and ensure that all people of South Africa are equally protected within the various legislative frameworks. In 2016, a few bills have been passed and sent back or are being disputed on some technical grounds and raise serious questions on the functioning of select committees and the required processes that need to be followed in passing bills. I want to acknowledge the implementation of authorization of longer timelines for specifically Section 76 bills based on the nature and complexity of the bill. Another responsibility is to represent the issues of our people in the 9 provinces in the NCOP as a platform on a national level and contribute to effective intergovernmental relations and cooperation. The NCOP's Provincial Week taking Parliament to the People and Select Committee's Oversight Program, as well as questions to the Executive, oral and written, should encapsulate all these roles and functions of the NCOP. Honourable Chair, the establishment of a high-level panel in 2015 assessing the impact of specific legislation should pose a question on how effective is the NCOP's, actually the governing party's existing model of oversight and review on the impact of policy and legislation. One good example is the 16 days of activism of violence against women and children and its assessment of the impact of the applicable ministries. Policy changes and interventions should be a priority for the Select Committee, as violence is fast becoming the norm rather than the exception in our country. The NCOP should play a meaningful role in the oversight of the impact of legislation to determine meaningful changes, such as looking at places of safety and the funding thereof to curb this problem compared to the frivolous spending on overseas trips. Honourable Chair, in looking forward to what 2017 may hold for us, I look forward to address and improve the level of all our programs, especially the oversight functions of the select committees, on the impact and necessary changes, firstly on policy as the basis of legislation, and then on legislation and regulations that give rise to our rights as well as our responsibilities as South African citizens. I'm looking forward to further progress in the functioning of our institutional committees, determining the functioning of the Council to enhance the decorum of the House, for all of us to take political responsibility to lead this House with dignity and humility. Honourable Chair, I also want to thank all the staff members of the NCOP for their hard work, patience, guidance, advice and cooperation. I also want to thank the Chair, the Whippery, the Deputy Chair, House Chairs and representatives of other opposition parties and my own DA colleagues for robust discussions and plenaries that culminated in progress and how we fulfill our roles. Honourable Chair, I am grateful for a year where we could serve the people of South Africa and wish us all a safe and peaceful festive season. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honourable Connie.
Ke a leboga modulasetilo e re ke tseye tšhono ke dumedise Afrika Borwa ka bophara, especially the economic freedom fighters, supporters, members and followers. The EFF expresses its deep sense of gratitude to over 1 million South Africans who voted for us, the masses that contributed to us being in Parliament today. We thank you and we salute you. We commit ourselves as the EFF never to take your votes for granted, and we vow, as we have done this year, to continue putting across in both houses of Parliament the plight of our people. 2016 has been a very successful year for the EFF in Parliament. We brought meaning to the adage, these houses are the Parliament of the people. We vowed to force Zuma to implement the remedial action of the public protector, and he did it, a clear admission that he acted criminally and broke his oath of office. We vowed to challenge unjust rules in Parliament, and we did so, forcing the presiding officers to embarrass themselves in courts defending the indefensible. We vowed to fight for the return of our land, and we did so, forcing the ANC to prove for all to see that it's for white capital. The DA, when you go for your holidays and when you come back next year, please also think about giving us our land back, including you, DBR. The ANC, it refused our offer to amend the Constitution to allow for expropriation of land without compensation. And
Honourable
we went
Connie.
on to pass on ideologically.
Honourable Connie, please take your seat. Honourable Julius, you are on your feet. Honourable Connie. Honourable Julius.
Chairperson, I want to know whether Honorable Connie wants to say it in a shack in my yard. Where's the land that I have?
That was
I'm
no point
paying
of
my
order.
land.
That was no point of order. Honorable Connie, please continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. Here in this council, we have stretched the limits of what was deemed possible, making this council not to sit on its laurels with little regard for our people. For that, we were beaten, brutalized, and made to look as if we were skunk of the earth. We shall continue on this journey that our revolutionary duty obliges us to follow without fear for criminals and their stooges. As we depart for the year, the EFF wishes you all, except the land thieves, an enjoyable festive season. Go back home, enjoy your time with family. Please don't drink and drive, condomize or abstain. The struggle shall continue. Salute.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Khayla.
Chairperson, thank you. Today, as a collective entrusted with a huge responsibility by the people of this country, we say goodbye to a year that was full of achievement, yet exposed many challenges to be confronted. We should therefore take advantage of the good work we did and use this break to amass more energy and skills to deal head-on with the day-to-day issues that continue to confront the poorest of the poor. Madam Chair, on behalf of the United Democratic Movement, let me convey a word of gratitude to you for your sterling leadership you have always displayed in directing this House towards achieving its constitutional mandate. This applies equally to all presiding officers. In the same vein, we recognize and welcome the leadership of the Chief Whip and the Whippery, including the multi-party Whippery. You all have done very well. We thank you for that. To all my colleagues in the House and outside the House, Mahmoud Lamini and all that, siyanibulela kakhulu ngoba nasebenzisane kakuhle irrespective of political affiliation. Sisebenzisane kakuhle bomama notata, uThixo makanisikelele ninonke. Into ebalulekileyo sijonge into zelizwe esihleli kulo. The backroom staff that worked tirelessly with no complaint, we're extremely thankful for unwavering support to the members of this House and the work it's tasked to do for the nation. As long as there's poverty, unemployment, inequality, corruption, our collective commitment, dedication shall always be relevant in this regard. The UDM wishes all members to go back home safely, spend more time with your family. Ningazulazuli ke bafana. Indoda ihlala endlini niyeke lento besiyenza apha eKapa nto zakuthi ndinganibiza bane nincedeni nijongane neefemeli zenu nihlale nabantwana benu bahlekazi yintoni ngoku la
Honorable Khayla, please take your seat. Honorable Nyambi.
iyaveka
Honorable Chair,
Honorable Nyambi.
it's a point of order.
A point of order.
I understand it's a farewell speech, but I'm checking, is it parliamentary for Honorable Kayla to refer to us as Bafana?
Well, it is a farewell speech. It is supposed to be lighter than all you members are making it. It's supposed to be bantering. It's supposed to...
Lastly, we want to thank everybody for the sterling work that we have done. We must also remember our enemy is poverty. We can differ politically, but the enemy is poverty. It's our people out there, people who won't have any money to buy Christmas lunches. That is our enemy. And collectively, in different parties, we must help to fight poverty in this country. Kwabakuthi mamu samka, phemakhaya. Masithembana kule Christmas, asizuthi nasibuya kwezolday, mamu chairperson. Sibuya abantu bakuthi beswelekile ezingozini zemoto. Therefore, siyabacela ubana noko makathi bathi xa apha ekuseleni bayiqhuba imoto. Umuntu makazithengele into yakhe oyohlala emzini wakhe nabantwana bakhasele. Because ikuhlungu lento ubana kusoke usifa umuntu ontsundu endleleni. Siyazi bana amapolisa asebenza nzima. But nathi kuyafuna ukuba sibancedise, sibe responsible. Isipolisa ngokubanzi, amanesi, ogqirha, namajoni abazobe besebenza kule holidays. Siyathemba bani uThixo uzobagcina. Siyazi bana bathatha intweni ungake batye kakuhle iChristmas. Mama, uyeke nalento umane uthi is the age thing. Nokagugi kakhulu, nophazamileyo. Uyitye kakuhle iChristmas ke nabantwana bakho mama, ubuye ufresh, umtsha. Siyabulela abantu bakuthi ninonke sinibulela ngosebenzisana. My chairperson Mohai, we always tease each other. Ngusibari ke noba ngusibari uthathe Eastern Cape wena Mohai okalobuli. Inkosi.
Siyabonga. The Honorable Kaula.
Ngiyathokoza sihlalo ohloniphekile. Bangiqale ngokukhuleka esilweni sihlalo samaZulu. Uqasa likaHasi inkomo ethandwa zibawo. Ubhejana odla bakayise ngithi isilo nendlunkulu yonke. Kameni leqembu lenkatha sithi abantwana basendlunkulu babe nesikhathi esimnandi samaholide. Ngize kumntwana kwaphinda ngene undunankulu kaZulu. Mongameli weqembu lenkatha Shenge Sowalisa qhubeke njalo nokusigayida kahle Shenge sihole kahle indlunkulu yakaphinda ngene ngiqhubeke esihlalo ngiye kubaholi beqembu lenkatha na wonke ama-foot soldiers enkatha ama-federal ngithi IFP you worked very well in 2016 we salute you on behalf of umntwana. I want to thank you. Go on doing good work on the ground, doing hard work, because you can see that in 2019 we can even do much better. Izwe liyayidinga inkatha. Ngakho ke qhubekani nihambe niyokhulula abantu emaketangweni obupha ebuqileni abakubona abantu nibakhulule ma-federal. Chairperson, I want to salute His Excellency the President of the country, Msholozi nomndeni wakho. Nibe nesikhathi niphumule ubuye unyaka moqala ziyaduma. The Honorable Deputy President Baba Ramaphosa nomndeni wakhe sithi nibe nesikhathi esihle. The government of South Africa, on behalf of umntwana, on behalf of the IFP, I want to say to the government, you are our government, irrespective that we did not vote for you. And I want to thank umntwana for instilling discipline, Chair, to the IFP. This is one great contribution which will always be our legacy in the IFP. That umntwana is a father to us, is a father to South Africa. And whenever we take a step, we think of him first before we take that step. Chair, let me come back to the House and say, sihlalo omuhle ohloniphekile, siyakuthanda ke sihlalo. Ngendlela osiphethe ngayo, usiphethe njengomama, umama wethu sonke. But you see, there is something very peculiar about you, Chairperson. You are very IFP-like. Had the IFP been born before the ANC was born, I'm sure you would have been one of the leaders of the IFP, because your character is very much IFP. Chairperson, thank you very much to you for your leadership, for your guidance. We also wish to send our good wishes, well wishes to the Deputy Chairperson, wherever he is. We wish you, Babu Tau, a speedy recovery so that you can come back and remind us that time is up. Don't do that to me, Chair. Babu Tau and your family have a good time. The presiding officers, our House Chair, who will always jump at the first instance, Babu Nyambi, at kicking the EFF out of the House. Thank you for leading us. To also Mam Techale, we say the same to all our colleagues in the ANC, Babu Mohai and your team, to Mama Katie, colleague, Komanis, Upagis. Some of the people don't know that these two are colleagues when we are in meetings. We say to you, Mamula Baskachne, and your delegation, your team, thank you very much for the cooperation. To the EFF, we say the same to my brother in the UDM, brothers in the House, IFP, UDM, thank you very much for that. I also want to thank the Chief Whip, Umama Wetu, for being what she is to us. Thank you, Ma. the staff, Advocate Pindela, and your team for always being our support team there behind the scenes, our staff in the IFP caucus. And lastly, Chairperson, let me also express gratitude to the members who were with us when we started the year, who are now back in their provinces doing whatever as per the redeployment by their parties, the Honorable Van Lingen, the new mayor there in the Eastern Cape, and my friend, the Honorable Mtileni. My brother, wherever you are, we miss you here. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, sir. The Honorable Chief Whip.
Chairperson of the Council, honorable members, special delegates, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, on your behalf, may I congratulate the august lady in the chair. She has just been given the Zimbabwe Achiever Award for gender equality, women's rights, and Friends of Zimbabwe. Chairperson, what a year we have had. 2016 flitted like a second, just like this. This is not the end of a year, Chairperson. It is the middle of the 5th year term of Parliament. As delegates of our provinces, we were deployed here to come and serve the people of this country, our people. By now, Chairperson, routine procedures and arrangements of our councils are firmly in place in our minds. And as cogs of the same machine, we move in sync in whatever we do. Chair, lest we forget, the preamble to the Constitution reminds us that the over 50 million citizens of this country expect us to, I quote, heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights, improve the quality of life of all citizens, and free the potential of each person, close quote. Honorable Chairperson, I would like to focus on the commitment and unity we've shown throughout this year as South Africans, united in our diversity to advance the interests of the people of South Africa, particularly the provinces that deployed us to represent their interests in this august house. Chair, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate each and every one of you, of us here, for the outstanding work that we have done. As a collective, we truly remained focused on the national mandate to be the voices and servants of our people. In our debates, we disagreed in order to agree. Our interactions have proved that with unity of purpose, it is possible to work together side by side for the common good, irrespective of color or creed, and irrespective of party affiliation. Chairperson, interactions in this House have proved that a united, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous society is possible. The engine rooms of the institution, Chairperson, that is our committees, have performed as expected. Allow me, Chairperson, to thank and congratulate the chairpersons of our committees for their tireless efforts and dedication. You are truly the drivers of the engine room of our Parliament. Chairperson, indeed, the work of committees clearly show that the activist parliament that we have committed to advance continues to derive its mandate from the people it serves. Our community outreach activities, Chairperson, that are supported by programs such as Taking Parliament to the People and the Provincial Week, continue to be a platform for our people to express and articulate their needs. That is what the Fifth Parliament should strive to accomplish. Chairperson, our late former President Rolihlahla Nelson Mandela, a chief architect of our democracy, once said, I quote, "The nation has put their trust in members of parliament, and that ours is the most sacred duty to ensure government by the people under the Constitution," close quote. You have in all excelled in your duty to be voices of our people and represent their interests. Chairperson, one of the first tasks that we have set ourselves when we return in 2017 is to work with the House Chairperson on committees and oversight with the committee chairpersons and whips to ensure that each and every committee has a committee management committee to plan, give political leadership to the work of our committees. This is based on a number of requests that we have received to move with greater agency and determination to ensure that our committees have uniform management processes and systems. Chairperson, I would like to take this opportunity to thank and congratulate the provincial whips and the party representatives for their diligence and utmost commitment to continue to support the presiding officers with the daily political management of the work of the NC. Further, I would like to also thank them, the provincial whips and the various representatives of political parties, for their commitment to successfully put the needs of our country and its people above those of their own organizations. Chairperson, this term of this House will not only be marked as robust, but it has also been an exciting and interesting period, particularly in this corner here. Those who sit around here really know how to spice it up. This House, once again, served as a platform for robust, lively, and open debates. And although we had our differences, often important and sometimes profound, we have as a collective demonstrated our overriding commitment to ensure that the NCOP fulfills its function of participating in the national lawmaking process and to provide a national forum for public debates of provincial issues and for legislative intergovernmental relations. On behalf of the leadership of the Council Chairperson, particularly the Chairperson of our Council and the rest of the presiding officers, I would like to pass our profound appreciation to all our honorable members for their profound dedication and commitment to serve our people. As once said by His Excellency, President Jacob Zuma, I quote, "There is no other institution in the country that can showcase our beautiful and rich diversity as a nation quite as succinctly as the NCOP. This House is the point of convergence of the three spheres of government, which quite uniquely positions it as the bedrock of integrated and cooperative governance." Chairperson, it is the forum where issues of critical importance to the provinces and local government are debated on a national platform, close quote. Chair, provinces have also come to the party as and when the call was made to them. Hence, the perception by the communities out there, Chair, that the NCOP is a well-organized, dignified house where humor and mutual respect are the order of the day. Allow me, Honorable Chair, to take this opportunity to also express our profound gratitude to the provincial legislatures, especially provincial speakers, chief whips, chairs of chairs, chairpersons of provincial committees, and provincial whips in this House for their cooperation and assistance in our national task to advance the interest of provinces, particularly with the processing of Section 76 bills and the participation of special delegates in the work of this August House. Chairperson, together, we collectively took a principled oath committing to serve the people of South Africa with integrity, respect, in order to move South Africa forward. We have done our bit to make sure this House keeps its eye on the ball. That is, focus on the needs of the provinces and being the loud voice of our communities. Chair, I must not be misunderstood to be saying we are a legion of angels in this House. Where in the course of doing our work, Chairperson, things happen the way they should not, the robust mechanisms of Parliament do bring things back to normal. Without sounding personal, I mean situations like the one motion presented to this House the other day about the Chief Whip of the Council need not defocus ourselves from the noble duty of serving our people and advancing the mandate of our council. The robust mechanisms inherent in our democratic parliament will unearth the truth and make sure justice prevails. I'm also confident that the integrity of those concerned will also remain untarnished. Chairperson, allow me to take this moment to thank the voiceless and faceless machinery of staff of the NCOP that continue to work tirelessly to support us. I would like to pay a special tribute and acknowledgement of the invaluable support of the staff in the office of the Chief Whip. Honorable Chairperson, I also want to take this opportunity to thank you and the team of presiding officers for managing the business of the House through a fair and impartial application and interpretation of the rules, conventions, practices, and precedents. I bid you farewell in the words of Martin Luther King when he said, I quote, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve your people. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love for your people and community," close quote. Chairperson, in closing, as we leave to our various provinces, let us enjoy our families, our neighbors, our spiritual associations. Let us also enjoy the festive season, Chair. But let's remember, let's to do things in moderation. I thank you.
Thank you, Chief Whip. Honorable members, we rarely have time to sit as members of this House and to speak frankly amongst ourselves. We usually hide between party, caucus, provincial, whatever's. The truth is that we are halfway to the 5-year term. The truth is that we are simply born of men and women. And we've been together since mid-2014. The truth is that we are human who must associate, who by now should be understanding one another's languages, moods, likes, dislikes. The truth is that we should begin to coalesce into a formidable house that will begin to propagate and sell the Parliament of South Africa. Now, we've done a number of interesting things this year. The last taking Parliament to people in the Eastern Cape cost us far less than all the others before. And that was largely because we ourselves were in doubt whether focusing on an area or going in a joint venture with a province would ever deliver. So sometimes when we hold on to what was and are scared to be a little bit adventurous, but never to be free to risk anything that does not belong in our own bank balances. So we must always be adventurous on the right side, never risk the public purse, and that is what we've been trying to do. I appreciate that we have had frank discussions in the House. I appreciate, and being a person who started with debates in higher primary schools, led debates throughout my life in secondary schools, I've been a commissar and a commander in a particular military entity. I must say that in 2014, I despaired at the quality of debates of this House. I must tell you that I go home this December thinking, hey, we've come a long way. We're beginning to debate issues and not people. We are even beginning to say, even though we do not agree as political parties, on this particular one we object, but we will support because the bigger good is that one. And that is what we are all about as public representatives. I think we should also commend the committee I have always whipped. It's not the petitions committee, by the way. The committee I have sat on and pummeled and beat is the committee that deals with local government and traditional office. They have actually managed to deal better and quicker with issues of local government. They have held more workshops, brought more expertise from outside to interrogate their mandate more than any other committee. And I must say that one is beginning to say that one day, when we have passed through and the bill is ready to be introduced into the legislature, the bill on dealing with interventions on Section 100 and Section 139 and Section 154. So perhaps that is the bill that will give us teeth as the NCOP to say yes, to say no, to say we amend, we don't think that intervention should be going that way, it should be going that. So if I say to you that I am not a little bit proud of the NCOP, I would be lying. We have, however, not been doing things quite well. And that is why we undertook a discussion and a tour. I'm happy to say that most of the tours I have been into have been paid by the people who invite, to look at how the NCOP can do better, and therefore we have been visiting sister houses. We think that there are things we can do better if we look at other houses. We think that the enthusiasm within the ruling party to engage with recommendations which would improve the workings of the NCOP is very encouraging. We also think that we should, as the NCOP, not always say we are doing badly. Sometimes we're doing exceptionally well. Sometimes even when we are angry in each other's throats, we serve the best that some of us have given our lives for, democracy. The fact that we all don't belong to one party and one ideology is good for democracy. The fact that we don't always agree, even within parties, is good for internal democracies. Because you cannot entrench and grow democracy if all you want to reduce yourself is nodding heads. Yes, yes, yes. And the brains atrophy because we do not want to exercise them. So I want to thank you, my colleagues, on behalf of Bob Pindela and staff, that some of you have been gracious with us as staff. Some of you have been atrocious. And those of you who have been atrocious, we have not hesitated to tell you in your ears. And some of you who've been exceptionally well with our staff, we're happy. We also want to say that we have messed up members of parliament. As the administration, we apologize. And we hope that 2017 means a completely new page. I think we must also remember our colleagues, Mefan Lingen, and wish her well. I hope that she is beginning to recover. I actually do miss her banter from that desk. I think that we should also, in the same vein, wish Ndate Khai. There's something wrong with the air in the Eastern Cape. You guys get too sick. Wish you well. I want to also, I want to also think that the House will join me in hoping that our Deputy Chair recovers quicker. And I think that amongst us here, many of us have lost loved ones in 2016. Many of us have lost people we can't even openly acknowledge. But in that pain, colleague, we are with you. I just want to close off with what Eisenhower said when he cautioned his nation. He said, we must avoid the impulse to live only for today, plundering at our own ease and convenience the precious resources of tomorrow. In other words, colleagues, we are duty-bound to live in a better state, whatever it is that we have found. We cannot mortgage the future. We cannot tarnish the quality of democracy which we must live for our people. And we cannot run the NCOP bereft of morality. And this I want to plead. In 2017, it doesn't matter how you feel. I really struggle with myself when we object to motions of condolences, to obituaries of people who have passed on. And I want to say that sanity must prevail. We must question whether that, talks to, when you debate condolence motions, we send transcripts of the condolences to families. What do they think of us? I am that side of 50. And when you are that side of 50, I think you reach a point where you're not scared of anything or anybody. You want to start working towards helping people who will be standing on your grave to understand better who you are. And that is why it is important sometimes to unashamedly caution all of us, to say that truth is always a better weapon. Vindicating victims is always a noble thing. Going out after the poor and the voiceless is always a good thing. So I'm hoping that we will travel well. Don't do what I don't do. Whatever it is that I don't do that you are going to do, colleagues, do it in moderation. Drive safely, because most of us, we don't live for ourselves. We live for our communities, we live for our families. And so I want to wish you well, a very good Christmas for you. Let us see you well and fine and sprightly. Let us see you prioritizing South Africa, prioritizing our provinces. And as we say that, thank those who come from provinces and stick with us. Sometimes listen to us going through our energetic, sometimes very pointless discussions, because what provinces come here for, to utilize their national platform, is to push the agenda of provinces. And we must help provinces to do that.
We must help local government to do that. Therefore, honorable members, I wish you well, travel safely. Let us have broader smiles and bigger debates next year and healthier bodies. This concludes the business of the day. You are requested to remain standing as we leave this house. The house is adjourned.